Yes, guys, welcome back. It's another preview, guys. It's the last Premier League game for the World Cup. Boo, hits boo. But we're going to bring you that preview today. We've already got 14 people in here. Big up to everyone. Make sure you hit the like button. That's much more than a lot of people have on their live videos, but their subscribers are going through the roof. But that's another story.
He couldn't help himself.
Big up to everyone. Big up. I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you very much for coming in. I know there's a lot of other Liverpool content going on at the same time, but yeah, we've got to get used to being on at the same time as other channels now going forward. So I'm trying it out. Hope everyone's doing well. I think KZ for Dave's just said Klopp's banned for tomorrow.
Yeah, he is. I've just seen that myself.
So the FA got their appeal overturned, didn't they? They got the appeal overturned.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this happens to every other coach and manager in the Premier League and every league going forward. Because Klopp, for some reason, just gets the brunt of it. And I see managers all the time. Conte, he's always out of his technical area. Mm-hmm. Arteta runs up and down the whole pitch all match. Never said anything.
And, the thing is as well, didn't he not got away with it per se, but, he got his fine and he paid it. And then that was all said and done. And then they just decided to investigate it again. What? What was wrong with the first time round? You decided on a punishment, and then surely once that's happened, it's said and done. You can't go back and, then add on another, a ban or a fine. That's crazy. And also as well, right? We literally play tomorrow. It's Friday. Right, he might have flat out this afternoon, but we literally play at 3:00 tomorrow. What are you doing making decisions like that a day before the game?
It's stupid, ain't it? It's stupid. Big up, G. How you doing, my man?
I'm all good, man. Cav, how you doing, bro? You all right?
Hi, G. Good to see you again, mate. Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, we're just talking about Klopp suspended for tomorrow, and
is he?
Yeah, he's got his game banned. They overturned it.
Oh, I didn't think that would be so. Oh wow, okay, I didn't even know.
We were just saying, hopefully they do this now with a lot of other managers who abuse the rules constantly every match.
Yeah,
just saying, Arteta runs up and down the whole pitch all match. He never told us that, Conte, Pep. So hopefully, if this is the case, all managers will be getting the same kind of treatment going forward. Hopefully, because look, the Premier League decided that Klopp, he apologised straight after, so they took his apology to things he apologised about straight after the game, no messing around. So well, all right, fair enough, we'll fine you 30k. I mean, 30 G's is a lot of money, but no, the FA are no, that's not good enough.
Bloody
hell. We need the German done.
I think that's a bit.
It's a bit weird, ain't it?
They'd have to do it to every manager now, because I didn't see Conte, or I don't know if Conte or Tuchel got their bans. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they did, but you'd have to start banning everyone literally for doing the exact same thing. So I think it is there's probably a little bit of history there. They've probably been dying to get Klopp for ages now. So I think it is just more a bit of that than anything else, because that is a bit silly. It's only one more game anyway to the World Cup. Couldn't you have just left it? Left it alone?
You find him, you've done it, just move on. And they even said in their report, I think they even mentioned that referees said that he didn't even swear.
Oh, so what was why'd you find him then?
Because he just got in their face. And at the end of the day, they should be also fining their own officials for doing a shit job. Because then Klopp wouldn't have got so irate. Do you know what I mean?
I've always said referees, they do need to be held a little bit more accountable than they have been, because decisions happen, and obviously Liverpool are never are not going to get relegated, and we're not going to get relegated based on that one decision. But in situations where relegation is on the line, tempers are going to be very, very high. So I can imagine a manager like the Notts Forest manager in a game, let's say, if they lose, they go down or something, and a key decision, goes against them. I doubt he's going to be sitting there thinking, oh, that's fine. No worries about it. I'll just get relegated, potentially lose my job, and, we'll just move on, and you can manage in the Premier League. Of course you're going to be, you know what I mean? And that's the worst case scenario, but these things do happen on a regular basis. So it's a bit of bullshit, to be honest. Excuse my language.
No, swear away. We're good here. So,
is he? Sorry, Jay. Just before we move off of it, he's going to be at the ground though, isn't he? Like, is he just going to be in the stands somewhere?
I'm not sure if they're even allowed in the stadium.
Yeah, I feel like they've stopped that. You can't come to the.
I think you have to
the
stay at the hotel.
Remember, was it Arteta that got a ban last? And I remember there was an image released of him watching it on TV.
Yeah, you have to watch it at the hotel.
Okay.
Pep Linders will be on the touchline.
No.
He's been flipping waiting for this for flipping ages.
Do you know what he'll do? He'll mess up
and the FA. Pep Linders is the one who rang the FA. Look,
yeah, exactly.
I don't think Jurgen's punishment was tough enough.
He's had a taste of it now. He would accidentally roll the kids out again, not know what competition he's in.
He's had a little taste and he wants more. He wants Jurgen's job. He's coming for it.
Didn't he manage Liverpool when we I think when Jurgen's was it father died or something like that during that year where everything was just going like a bit crazy.
Jurgen missed the game and Pep took.
And he missed the game. I'm sure Pep took
his
him
mum,
against
I think, wasn't it?
It was his mum. Sorry, yeah, his mum. Rest in peace. Like I remember. Pep took the game against Chelsea, and you could just see it. Like he was gagging for it. He's thinking, "This is the chance. This is my time. Man. I'm gonna." And we went 2-0 up, and he was probably thinking, "Klopp, you might not have a job when
easy work."
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what he gets so stressed about. This is easy.
Exactly.
Oh, dearie me, it's funny. So yeah, guys. So like, before we get started, I've got one thing I want to say. I think Liverpool Football Club should abolish their youth system.
Oh, thank you, Jamie. Jesus Christ.
And start again because it's shit. I've been looking at it and thinking. I've been thinking this last few days as well, and I looked at it and think all our best youngsters came from other youth academies. We haven't really produced anyone apart from Trent, and I can remember for a long time. That's come through and been the first team footballer. Elliot come from Fulham, Carvalho Fulham, Ben Doak basically Celtic.
Yeah.
I mean, you know to Sterling, he came from QPR.
Yeah.
Brewster, I know he won a Champions League medal without kicking a ball. The man's a legend. But you know, I think he came from Chelsea's academy, was it?
Yeah.
I just think we need I think whoever takes over our football club needs to invest heavily in the youth system and the infrastructure there because that is your youth system is your life, is your blood. It's where you can produce the next talent and save money on, or it's where you can produce very good talent that might not make your team, but you can make money off. You know, at the moment we don't sell anyone. Do you know? I was watching Grizzly's show yesterday with Mo Charter on it, and they were saying that we haven't sold anyone for over 25 million apart from Mane in the last 5 years.
Serious? Jamie, don't tell me this stuff, because you're going to get me even more angry about Liverpool as it is. Don't tell me this stuff.
Yeah, apparently that's the case. And you see City have sold. They sold a player to Southampton for about 30 mil. I've never even heard of it from their youth academy.
I know.
It's just like, what are we doing?
How much did Nico Williams? How much are we selling for?
18, I think.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If that. Yeah. Yeah, the only person is Mane in that last 5 years. Think back. Who have we actually sold?
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to remember.
We've sold a lot of players that make a bunch of money in one time, but individually.
Wow.
Who we actually sold has gone over 25, 30 mil.
Wow.
Apart from Coutinho and Mane.
Liverpool is just the gift that keeps on giving. I didn't even really notice that. Wow.
So I think when we get taken over, because I think it's not when, it's if now. It might take a year. It might take a few months. Who knows? But when Liverpool finally get taken over, I think the first thing they got to do is desperately look at the infrastructure of our football club in the youth system. And if there's players there that they know are never going to make it, release them, let them go somewhere else and start again.
Well, look at Man City's youth team. Look at Chelsea's what they do. Chelsea, what they've started to do as soon as Todd Bowley came in is the guy from, I'm just going to call him Chuck because I can't pronounce his whole name, but the guy from Aston Villa that they signed, young player, he's for the future. I know he's not an academy player, but he's he's in there under 20.
Chaka Waka Menka, ain't it? That
That's
even
took away.
You can say it. I'm not even going to attempt.
did I do that right? If I did that right, I'm
yeah,
paying
definitely weren't right, Joe. But we all know what you're talking about.
I think that's how you say his name.
From Villa, weren't he?
Chuckle.
Yeah, look.
You know what? Chuck.
I think
There
that's
we
how
go.
you say it. Chucky
Chuckle
Wee Mecca. Yeah.
He must have a nickname in that academy. No way they call
Chuck.
him anything. They're going to have to call him Chuck or something.
Chuck
Wee
Wooty
Mecca. Yeah, I
Chuck
weren't far
Wooty.
off. Come on.
We were linked to him for a little while as well.
Yeah, we were linked to him, and then we saw the price.
These are the kind of players that we need to. I know, obviously, maybe not like we got Harvey Elliott, Ben Doak and stuff like that, but obviously Ben Doak will grow through the Liverpool system because he's so young. But we do need to start looking at trying to expand this academy a little bit, because some of the players that we are getting through anyway are not even. It's like we sign players at the top level in terms of the first team who are maybe just that kind of tier below. And I feel that we do that with the young players as well. We're signing like the tier below as well. Like, I feel that we should be looking at as an example, even though he's a first team player now, like a Makuku, like that kind of level of player, but bringing that into the academy. There is so many young players out there. I think that if Liverpool got them in now, 15, 16, 17 years old, and just blooded them through into the academy, we'd have such a sick academy. And then we wouldn't have to worry about first teamers like that, because in about 2-3 years, we'd have those kind of players, coming through kind of thing. Chelsea, again, they've brought in a couple. They brought in an Italian youngster who is going to be touted as the next best thing. I can't remember what his name was, but a lot of teams were after him, and Chelsea got him in. Man City, the youth team is just filled with just brilliant young players. I don't know where they keep getting them from. And it's like Liverpool, again, we're just not shopping in the right places, man. So I think you're right. I think the new owners would need to come in and just revamp that entire academy.
I mean, Liverpool, obviously, northern teams, majority of northern teams do find it harder for their academies, just because of this. Everyone wants to be in London. That is where the metropolis of football usually is for kids growing up anyway. On all the pitches in London and everything, that is where everyone goes for their youth academy. What Man City have done really well is that the youth players they get from down south and bring up north, they look after. They look after their families. They give them houses. They take care of them, and that's what we got to do. That's what we got to start doing. And I think that's something. After that League Cup game against a League One Derby side, and I'm watching it and thinking, I can't see a youth player or a young player coming from our system that is actually going to make it at Liverpool Football Club in the first team at this moment in time.
Yep.
I look at Stefan. I can't say surnames. So I'm just going to go Stefan. But I look at him and I'm thinking, you know what, G? You had a conversation the other week when you were saying Liverpool, what they're going to do is bring Tyler Morton back.
Oh, yeah.
And now I'm looking at it, and I think you might be right. Because where did Harvey Elliott go on loan to?
Blackburn.
And now look at him. Tyler Morton, I think Klopp sent him on loan for the reason that he prefers him.
Yeah.
Out of the two players.
Yeah.
And that's why I sent him on loan to play big boy football.
Yeah.
And Stefan, I just can't. I think he's a tidy little player in his clever league. Do you remember that player we had? Is it Chiavella?
Yeah. He reminds me.
Similar. Very similar, ain't he? Very similar. And he just, he was a good footballer, but you could just tell he just weren't going to make it in this Liverpool team at the time. And I think the same there. And I'm just looking at the academy and I'm thinking, yeah, Doak. I mean, he basically grew up in the Celtic academy, and we can refine him now, but he basically grew up in that academy. So, go on, Kev.
I'd like to know what the sort of figures are in taking a player on at, say, 13, 14, 15 years of age. To understand how much you would have to move them on for to get a return on your investment. Because if the total package of getting like a 15-year-old, say, into the academy is 250k, it's fine as long as you're making some kind of profit on them. They've not got to be like Liverpool first teamers. They're not even got to be like Premier League standard. But at the point in which they do move on, you've got to make sure you make money out of them, because otherwise it is completely pointless. Unless you do have a real star in there that's like you really back into getting the first team. But I think if you look at that side that played Derby and then you went across all the kids in the academy. How many do we truly believe are good enough to get into Liverpool's first team? Very, very few. So then you've got to start looking at it like, okay, well, what level can they get to? And then, what value can you get for them? I think I'd like to think that the players in the academy, they've been bought and they're paid, and everything else that goes into financing having that player is less than what they're going to move on for. But there's no real I've not seen any kind of accounts to back that up or to prove that. But it does kind of seem a bit silly to have so many players in the academy that just end up disappearing, really, don't they? Some have like really good seasons, like Musalowski or Doak at the minute and stuff, and you think, yeah, they're gonna be real great, but then they like next year they'll just be like gone to some League Two side, and you're like, all right, okay, and that's the end of that then. It's happened so many times. There's been a few that's come out of the academy we've made some good money on, but it is a bit of a shame we're not seeing more. Not like Liverpool first teamers, because let's face it, that is the highest of high standards, isn't it? But at least see some like Premier League players come out of the academy, or Championship players. But I think a lot of them just kind of disappear into the abyss.
Yeah,
what happened to him? He was the shining light, at one point when Klopp first came in, and I thought, okay, he's going to be first team of like fairly soon, and all of a sudden he just fell off the face of the earth. Like, I don't even know what happened to him, to be honest with you.
I mean, I just feel that is one area of our team I think new ownership will definitely look at, because the FSG, they make no bones about it. They obviously bought Liverpool to make profit, because it's how they bought Liverpool for, and the giant of a club it is. If they just got them back to some kind of degree, they could always go and make huge money off the club. So they did it's a profit thing, and they're not. They talk about that. They admit that. That's why I don't mind it, because at least they admit it. You're not pretending anything else. So they're not interested in the youth setup, are they? They're not like, oh, we go after what we do. They don't really care about Liverpool's future for the next decade or 20 years, from that part. So I think new owners, what they need doing is make sure that is secure, because it is the lifeblood of your football club. You do need a proper good academy, and it's just, I look at Chelsea's academy. They loan out hundreds of players every season. Obviously, that's going to stop for them, but they make so much money on their loan system. They make so much money on their loan systems from youth players, and they sell a lot of youth players on. Look, Bayern Munich wanted to buy Choi when I didn't even hear of him. You had to be a Chelsea fan to know who he was. Yeah, and they wanted to pay 30 mil for him, and he never played a senior game. I was like, where we got to start getting that.
Don't you find it weird? Like, someone just put it in the comments there, like, and it actually just clicked into my head. Look at who we loan our players out to, like Macclesfield. Like, Jesus Christ! I'm not saying every academy player has to go to a Premier League club. Of course not. That's not going to happen, because but even then, though, Jamie, it's like we don't even do that. And I sit there and think to myself, just because you've been loaned out to a certain level, that doesn't mean that that's your level, because it could just be a context. We just needed to get game time, and this is the best club for it. No problem. But I look at it sometimes and I think to myself, Jesus Christ, like Reece Williams, he went to Blackpool, Swansea, like Blackpool, like really? You were playing Champions League football literally 6 months ago, and all of a sudden you were.
I'm saying I don't know why he's on loan. He's got no future.
Yeah, I think we do that. All Liverpool fans, like, whenever we see something in a young player, or like they have a good period in like the unders group, we're like, we all do it, not just Liverpool fans. We big them up, and then so you're like, okay, you get really excited by this player. You hear their name more and more, and then they get loaned out to a League Two side, and you're a bit like, oh, they can't be that good then, can they? And all that hope you had for so long, it's just like
it's like I heard great things about Peter Luger. Yeah, Peter Luger was Alison. Was one of the people in our team that actually spoke to Jurgen Klopp and the scouting team about him, because he knew about him, right? And I'm thinking it now, like, he's at Macclesfield on loan. Robbie Savage is his owner. Robbie Savage owner? I think Robbie Savage owns Macclesfield now, or he's got a part of stake in it or something like that. And I'm sitting there thinking, he might be Brazilian, but that kid's never playing for Liverpool ever. You know, you don't go to Macclesfield and then all of a sudden play for Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah.
You know, it's not happening. Let them. I don't get why we loan them to shit clubs.
Yeah.
And they're not going to ever play. So that tells me they don't rate them. They just want them to go out and experience, you know, some football at a level. So just release them. What? I feel like.
But the thing is, you
Chris Williams is probably sitting there thinking, I've had a great season for Blackpool. You never know Michael Klopp's eye. No, you're not. You know, Klopp don't even know where Blackpool is, and it's close to Liverpool. You know, it just doesn't care.
Do we have a feeder club at the club?
No, we need one. That's what we need. We need a. Do you remember we had Auxerre under Houllier?
Yeah,
we got some players from Auxerre. Do you remember before that though? We had Crew Alexandra.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like, come on, Liverpool. Like this is where I'm looking at Chelsea when they had Vitesse from Holland. Like not a great team. Yeah, like not a great team, but they play in the highest level in Holland. Meaning I remember, you know, Dutch players. You know, Mason Mount went over there. Van Ginkel went over there. Obviously, he had his injuries and stuff. Otherwise, he would have made it into the team. Marco Marin, I feel like he went there as well. Like not great players, but players bar Mount who could go over there, play at the highest kind of level in that country, and just develop. Like as you said, Macclesfield, Blackpool. I understand, you know, getting players fit and ready for, you know, men's football. Of course, like I said, not every player can get loaned out to a Premier League club. But there's got to be a standard that
there's
you're
levels.
Still, yeah, there's levels to it. Like you can't be going to bloody Macclesfield, as you said, and then thinking, yep, looks like I'm in the first team squad for next season kind of thing. Like that's not going to happen. If you are, then we are really like not setting the standard for type of players. We need a good feeder club, someone who's at a high level and that players can go to, and a club that kind of plays a bit like Liverpool as well, because that will just help for when the players do get back. There is that seamless kind of transition into the first team, as opposed to we're playing at under 21 level. They don't play like the first team. I've seen them play three at the back before. Like first team has never done that. So it's like, if you're so used to playing three at the back, you know, with the unders, you're going to be like a fish out of water when it does come to the first team, because you ain't got a clue, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, Blackburn, like Edward says, we do seem to have a good relationship with Blackburn right now. I mean, and like Edward's saying, that the Championship has a higher level than some of the top European leagues. I mean,
I don't believe that. I actually, people say this a lot. I think
it's more it's competitive, ain't it?
Yeah,
I think we get competitive and good mixed up, maybe.
Because it's got 100% agree. I think it's because, I'll be honest, all the teams are like at the same level. So you know what I mean. QPR might be top of the league. I think they're second or something like that. But are QPR as good as Blackburn, or are they as good as whoever else is in that? Like they're all at the same level. Whoever's got the biggest budget will go up, as we've seen every year. When Bournemouth get taken down, they come back up. Fulham come down, they come straight back up. Norwich, the same thing. So I don't think the Championship is as good as everyone's saying. That the football there is kind of crap, to be honest with you. So it's just really competitive because everyone's on that level there.
All right, let's get to this, because this is right. So we obviously drew Man City, and it is 2 days after the World Cup final, which is just madness. You say that sentence. Just think, would you ever have said that sentence? The Carabao Cup fourth round is 2 days after a World Cup final. That's just. Who scheduled that? Scheduled that?
There's not going to be any Liverpool players in a World Cup final.
No, which I'm quite happy about. We'll have.
You never know. You never know.
Well, have you seen the list? We've only got. There's not many Liverpool players that go into the World Cup.
I think there's
Uruguay are dark horse. Yeah, Uruguay are dark horse.
Have you seen the age of that Uruguay team, though?
Yeah, no. To be fair, I've not even seen that. I just know Darwin's going.
It's an old team.
Yeah.
It's an age.
Have you seen their squad announcement video? That was quite good.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's the best one I've just as I walked in.
These are the players going to the World Cup from Liverpool: Alisson, Fabinho, don't know how, Virgil, Jordan, Trent, Darwin, and Konate. That's it.
Yeah, Konate.
So out of all them, it could be it ain't gonna be England, is it? It's gotta be Alisson, Fabinho, and Konate, ain't it? It could be.
Yeah,
it would be missing the longest, probably.
I don't know if Konate would play much, though, to be honest.
Yeah, he
No,
doesn't
but
really.
he'd have to stick with a squad, even if France go all the way, won't he? So,
Is Alisson Brazil's first choice?
yeah. He's
Is
everyone's first choice.
No, but I know that they do put Edison.
They
I
play
did,
Edison
yeah.
in friendlies, but Alisson plays most of the
Right.
competitive.
Well, a keeper's a little bit different. Like, I suppose it's the travel, isn't it? I think if you're
but
playing
Alisson does get injuries.
Mm.
not for a while.
Yeah, I know, but for a while he was getting quite a bit of injuries for a goalkeeper.
So weird. It's so weird.
But I think he's been all right for a while now, though, ain't he? But yeah, I actually think Alisson's the one player in our team we can't afford to lose.
No.
He's literally like, I mean,
Someone mentioned this to me as well.
I mean,
like,
Kelleher is a fine goalkeeper. Don't get me wrong, but
could you trust him for a run of? Let's say Alisson was injured for 6 important games.
yeah.
Would you trust Kelleher in goal?
I would.
We've never seen it.
I would probably trust him because the bits I've seen of him play, I can see he's decent. But the problem is, we really, really don't know how good Kelleher can be because he's never had a run of consecutive games.
Exactly.
So, but you can tell he's a decent keeper at the same time.
No,
so
definitely.
I'd like to see Kelleher have a decent run. The problem is, he's
Not now.
got the best goalkeeper. He's got the best goalkeeper in the world in front of him.
Yeah.
And when that, it's like, you could be a very, very good number 10. You could be like the second best number 10 in the world. But if Messi's in front of you, you're never playing. Do you know what I mean? It's just that's why I feel for Kelleher. I think Klopp might be bigging him up a bit too much. I know your manager should, but when you call him the blonde Alisson, I think you just need to.
Yeah, I watched that.
Because he's so cringe when he says certain things.
He was speaking for a few minutes and then he said that, and I was like, "Yeah, you're going too far now."
I don't know if he's really blonde either. I mean, it's a bit reddish, isn't it? But
going back to your question though, G, if Alisson's not playing a game, you instantly know whoever is stepping in, there's a drop in quality. But Kelleher's like good enough, I think. Like he's probably going to be one of the best number 2s you're going to have in your club. So looking around the league, I don't think there's many better. So yeah, like if it's unfortunate that Ali's not playing, not that I'd be comfortable with Kelleher, but but that's just accepting the fact that you've got a good keeper in the goal now, not an exceptional one. But that's got to be the case if if Alisson's not playing. Don't matter who's in net, does it?
I mean, Klopp, when he says he's the best number 2 in the world as well, I mean, Jurgen, stop.
He'd be up there though.
I don't know. There is some good number 2s around. I mean,
I don't really know many number 2s
there. Who's Madrid's number 2? Not Madrid. PSG's got Donnarumma and
Navas.
Is it still Navas? Bloody hell! I thought you
Navas
left.
still there. Yeah, Navas is better. Look, Navas is better than Kelleher. That's not.
Yeah.
Navas is better than Donnarumma. I don't know why Donnarumma's number 1.
Navas has won 3 Champions Leagues.
Navas is quality. I don't know why he got
the Champions
Donnarumma
League and still be a second choice keeper.
I think he's better than Donnarumma. I really do. I don't think Donnarumma's that great. I've watched him a few times. For a bloke as big as he is and covers that goal, he makes a lot of mistakes.
I would Eunice. I think it's Eunice.
Mendy and Kepa.
Mendy and Kepa.
I'd have Kelleher over Mendy right now.
Are you assuming that Mendy's the number 2?
Yeah, I think he's under.
I
think he is now, isn't he?
I think he's under Potter because Mendy can't kick. Mendy can't even actually sort his feet out when the ball comes close to him. He seems to just like
a donkey. The ball. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, you really
when
do.
Came to Chelsea, he looked amazing.
Yeah.
And now he's just like, at this moment in time, I'd have Kelleher over Mendy. Maybe not overall, but in the moment in time, yeah, I think. But yeah, Klopp. I've always said it about Jurgen. I love the man to death, but sometimes maybe not just say certain things and just just leave it be. But look, he's bigging up his player, so I don't blame him for it. He's got the love he has for his players. I can't knock, to be fair. And look, if I played for him, I'd probably run for a wall for him, to be fair. Because so Jamie, you're the best overweight centre midfielder I've got. So just just do everything. I'll be like, yeah, come on.
Do you guys think, just before I don't know, before you guys get into like the Southampton stuff?
Yeah,
I've seen it a lot. everyone talking about this whole Thiago thing. Are any of you
not
that
very much.
surprised that he's not made the squad? In 11 years, he's got 46 caps. That kind of tells its own story.
Yeah, I think Thiago's always had the problem, a bit like Robbie Fowler did at England when he was behind Alan Shearer. But, you know, and Robbie Fowler was a genius of a striker. But he had Fowler and he always had Shearer and Sheringham in his way sort of thing, and he couldn't really break into the two. Same with Ian Wright. And then I look at Thiago, he always had Iniesta and Xavi and Busquets in his way. I remember he left Barcelona because he couldn't get into the team.
Exactly.
Because them three were there. And that is probably the best three.
Yeah.
Midfield three.
National team wise, you've got Fabregas and you've got David Silva and others. So I mean they're stars.
I mean their talent's ridiculous, let's be fair.
Yeah.
Thiago was English, he'd be captain and starter.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah, of course he was.
Thiago is English, we're playing him bloody left back.
I was gonna say, you know, he wouldn't even be the player.
Do you know what? If he was English, I don't think Southgate would have him in the 11.
True. Yeah, you know what?
He'd be in the 11. He likes his Bellingham and Rice. So he's.
I think just people are I get it. Like I think he's our best midfielder, but he's never been rated really by Spain in his whole career. Not because he's rubbish, just because, as you said, you're not getting into a team full of Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets. Then when there's still space for a David Silva, Juan Mata, Cazorla, you know, where are you even going to play? And then by the time that he was even, I'll be honest, and I said this today to Jerry, Thiago has had one world-class season, and that was the year that he won the Champions League with Bayern Munich. If you look at all of his other seasons, he was okay, at, you know, decent at best kind of thing. And again, that's not to say that he's rubbish. It's just he's Robbie Fowler. He's grown up in an era where there just happens to be so many other, you know, top class midfielders that you're going to always be overlooked regardless kind of thing. So you needed to be, maybe if he grew up in this era, then maybe he'd probably be a part of the team kind of thing. But
he should just play for Brazil.
I think there's a bit of a...
Make it in there to be...
Well, have you seen a Brazil midfield now? I mean, it would... Brazil's squad's quite kind of... I was looking at Brazil's squad the other day and I was thinking, right, that attack is like fantastic. The defence and midfield. I mean, Dani Alves is gone.
Dani Alves? Again?
The World Cup, yeah. The man's 48 years old. You know, he's gone to the World Cup. It's just... And then midfield, you know, you've got Fred, Fabinho, you know, Casemiro. I think Casemiro's good.
UK, maybe, he probably would have made it.
I mean, it's just... Yeah, it's that Brazil squad... I looked at it and thought, shit. I remember the squads in the 90s and the early 2000s that are just like just different gravy. I mean, their forward three are probably going to be Neymar, probably playing in that 10 role because that's where he's playing for PSG now, isn't it? Vinicius Junior and Gabriel Jesus.
I mean, that's a decent front three.
It's a decent front three, but it's not R9, Rivaldo, and Ronaldinho, is it?
Oh, Jesus, okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, that.
Or when I first really watched Brazil, Romario and Bebeto.
Yeah, I mean, those two again, they're fantastic.
I mean, that's just, you know,
Romario.
I think Thiago, look, don't know if it helps that he ain't really Spanish. So
yeah, I was just. There might actually be a little bit of something in that, and maybe not. And if not that, I think
that's anti-football.
I think it's for a long time. There's been a bias towards selecting players that still play in Spain as well.
Very true.
So, he left Barcelona young, didn't he? And he's obviously played around Europe now. So I feel like that kind of went against him a little bit.
I mean, the man's got a world-famous Brazilian father, footballer. The man's Brazilian. His brother plays for Brazil, Rafinha, I think, don't he?
Yeah.
And I actually think Thiago was born in Italy.
Jesus Christ! Pick a country, mate. Yeah,
because I think he got Spanish citizenship, didn't he? Because of all the time he was at Barcelona, that's why I think he chose Spain. But yeah, I mean, Thiago's going to be well rested. He's going to be well rested, which is good for us. A well rested Thiago. Yeah. Take him to Dubai. Don't let him train. Just let him beach. You know, just let him get some sun, man, and don't let him train. Because
he's a good player. Like he's not. But when I looked back at it today and I was looking at it and I was thinking, you know what? No one spoke about Thiago prior to that season when they won the Champions League. You didn't put him up there in your top midfielders. I don't feel like he's a top 5 midfielder ever, kind of thing. I think he's just one of those players that you're like, no, he's really nice. Like he's a good player. Like he's at the standard I feel that he just kind of should be at. Like other than again that one season, but. Yes, it's one of them things, man. Unfortunate for him, but as you said, if it means that he can just rest, perfect.
Yeah, just rest. Good for us. So, here's a stat for you. That might be a bit weird. If Liverpool win tomorrow, out of our last 10 games, we'd have won 8 and lost 2.
That's fans. I mean, it's clearly true, but that's hard to believe.
I can't remember us winning 8. If we win tomorrow. And our last 10 games, we'd have won 8 and lost 2. And them 2 games obviously been Leeds and Nottingham Forest.
Jesus Christ.
But that's
crazy.
Brighton in that last 10.
Because it's 2 Rangers games, 2 Ajax games, a Napoli game, a Man City game. Yeah, it does. It literally works out, which is mad. No, Pac-Man, but it does include your team, my friend. It does include your team.
Pac-Man's on some smoke tonight. I've seen him in the chat. He's taking shots at everyone.
Smoke, but when we actually beat his team in that top, you know, and so that's a weird stat. And so Nathan Jones, right. If anyone's a wrestling fan, the only Nathan Jones I remember was that Nathan Jones who was a wrestler, but. So when I saw it, Nathan Jones was appointed as Southampton manager. I thought he's done all right for himself. You know. So Nathan Jones has been appointed Southampton manager. This will last about 7 weeks, and he'll be gone.
First 2 games back.
Luton Town
after World Cup gone.
The former Luton Town boss is now Southampton manager in the Premier League.
This guy twerks himself out.
He said he's going to try and come in and start an evolution. I don't know what that is.
Mate, just come in, be quiet, just do your job quietly. And you're in a relegation zone as it is. You managed Luton, you stunk it up at Stoke City. You had to go back to Luton Town to go and manage. I think you should just humble yourself. You've never played at this level. This is going to be a different ball game for you. I'm saying all of this and watch us go and bloody lose anyway. But, you know, it is one of those kind of things. Maybe there might be a new manager bounce. I don't really know what his style of play is like. I don't know if he's that good. But from what I've heard about him, the best he's ever done was at Luton Town. And that was that's a very small club. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't know. Can you make it at this level? We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, Luton Town, Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Nathan Jones. Boring.
Question is, who's going to be the best manager? We can't all pick our names. Who's going to be the better manager on the day?
If Klopp, Pep Linders is got to smoke.
I forgot about that.
He's going to smoke Nathan Jones. Don't worry. At least Pep ain't picking the team. Klopp still picks the team. And Klopp ain't letting Pep do the team talk either. He'll phone that in.
That's what you think, mate. We'll probably end up just doing it.
Do you know what?
Because he needs to.
I'm going to let Pep get on with this. Let's let Pep get on with this. And if we lose, I'll just give him a roasting. You know, and then I can see it. So I'm going to just get out Southampton's team here and the business they've done as well this summer. Southampton has spent a bit of money this summer, actually.
Jeremy, where did we have them in our prediction show at the start of the season? I think we just above relegation, was it?
16th, yeah, something like that. Yeah, right down there. I think it's like 17th, 16th, something like that.
Yeah, 18th at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's such a weird club. So it's such a weird club. I don't really get them.
They're dying, man. They are dying. So
I always describe them as the forgotten team. You know, if you had to think of name all the Premier League teams you can now, you'd forget Southampton.
Yeah, that's true.
So they got Gavin Bazzuno, is his name? 15 million from Man City. There you go. A player I've never heard of went to Man City for 15 million. From Man City, 15 million. See what I'm saying, man? I think he's Irish number one there as well, isn't he?
He's a young lad, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's got his age on there. I don't think he's quite young, isn't he?
I think he's Ireland's number one at the moment.
No, it says for sale. 20.
They got Alex McCarthy, obviously. Winnie Cabero, geez, he's still going.
Oh my god!
Are these is this the squad or is this the transfers?
This is their main team. Yeah.
About to say, I fucking signed all them players. Yeah, okay, this is the squad. Okay.
Yeah, this is like a lot of this is their main team. Mohamed Su, 18 million.
He's quite good, actually.
Yeah, I like
decent player.
Kochak will be gone. He'll move on.
Yeah, he looks like a decent player. He does. He's done well this season.
Collector Car. Do you remember when everyone was on about him?
Yeah.
When Liverpool needed a centre back. You know, and
now in high Southampton.
Yeah, maybe sometimes our owners, the committee at the club, the transfer committee, just sometimes know certain players are not that great. The one they did probably miss out on was Botman at Newcastle.
Yeah.
But yeah, Collector Car. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so this is their team. Carl Walker-Peters, still at 25 million they bought him from Spurs back in a few years back.
He's such a strange player. Like,
yeah,
sometimes he's quite decent, and you think he should be playing at a bit of a bigger club than Southampton, maybe. And then other times he doesn't do anything, just goes missing for like half a season. It's strange. Unless he's playing Man City, he seems to turn up in their games, or Spurs or something like that. But yeah, it's strange. I mean, 25 now as well, so he's not a young lad anymore.
James Ward-Prowse on Transfer Market, they reckon he's valued at 35 million.
Maybe English tax captain.
Do you think he should have gone to the World Cup instead of Conor Gallagher?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
If you're saying instead of Conor Gallagher, then yeah.
Because I don't know how Conor Gallagher went.
Listen, that squad is a bit crazy.
When I look at, I'm thinking, right, he's a set piece expert. World Cup tournament football is tight games. It could be just one thing: a free kick, a penalty, something like that. Ivan Toney. England's shit at penalties. And you've got two very good penalty takers. We're not taken. It don't make sense to me. It really don't.
Trippier would take all set pieces anyway. So.
Yeah. Trippier probably will. But
the one name on that list is the chap there that's injured, Livramento. He's a good fullback. He is, and I think that's probably a big loss for them because he is a good player. Surprised actually. Because I think he's in his I might be wrong on this. I think he's in his second year on loan from Chelsea.
His second spell at Southampton. I think
he did well. He did well in his first, and I thought, Chelsea are definitely going to bring this guy back and keep him. And then he went out again, and I was quite surprised because I thought he's a decent fullback.
Joe Aribo, Jesus Christ, Stuart Armstrong, who's always seemed quite promising, but never.
No, Joe Aribo, in fairness to him this season, he's had some good games. Like I
like Aribo.
Yeah, he's got the ability to drift by people and carry the ball through midfield. On his day, though, that's the trouble. Some games he just goes missing and forgets he's there.
Fuck me, I forgot a man, Maitland Niles. Forgot him.
Yeah. See,
I'm saying Southampton has spent some money, This is that Man City left winger they got in on loan.
It does.
The return of Theo Walcott. The worst
How
striker.
How makes it a player in Premier League football? I don't know.
The worst striker I've ever seen in my life, Che Adams.
Oh, yeah, God, he's rubbish.
I grew up playing football with Che Adams.
Did you?
Yeah. He lived.
You must, Cav. You must be terrible. You're sitting here and he's a pro.
Yeah, no. We grew up. He lived on the street next to mine. Yeah, we grew up.
How old is he? How old is he?
26. Yeah, 2 years older than me.
No, that's
yeah, because he was at Coventry Academy when I played with him, and then he went. I think he went Birmingham after that, and then Southampton.
Yeah, I think he did go Birmingham. Yeah.
And then they got this guy from Bordeaux, I think, weren't he?
Suko Mara.
They need a Danny Ings type of strike, like someone who can just put the ball in the back of it. Because I think they've got the makeup of a good.
That's what I was
team.
going to ask. This is their squad. Like the players they've got on loan, they've brought in.
They're not poor.
Would you say that's a squad that shouldn't actually be a squad that gets relegated, should it?
No, but they have no goal scorers though. Like
no,
yeah,
the problem.
Goals for them.
Like a lot of teams, you look at Wolves, no goal scorer, some good players, but no goal scorer. Southampton, no goal scorer. You know, they're all missing that final piece of the jigsaw.
Thing is, Jamie, if you quickly run through that team, give a yes/no on whether they're Premier League standard or not, it would be very 50-50 on.
Yeah, that's very true. That's probably true.
Mizuno, is he a Premier League goalkeeper? He's very good, but at this stage, not sure.
Not.
Yeah. McCarthy, no. Caballero, no. Salisu, yes. Chopper, yeah. Collector, probably, maybe. No.
Peters,
Yeah.
Walker Peters, you'd say is, wouldn't you? Living Martin, you'd say is. Wall Press definitely is. Aribo, lower level Premier League, I'd say.
Yeah.
Armstrong's had his day. Nathan Niles, I don't know what his career's going to go. I don't know. His career's going down
in the middle. He's like in the middle.
Yeah, his career's going down the toilet, man. I just don't know what's happened to this kid. Yeah, this is a good player.
Elianusi, yeah.
He's a decent footballer.
He reminds me of Ben Rama. On their day, they can be good, but when they're not on their day, which is consistently, they just look so
Ben
good.
Rama factor. Yeah, Ben Rama's like that. I can't. To be fair to Ben Rama, I don't think he's been good since he was at Brentford.
Yeah, same.
I don't think he's actually pulled up any trees at West Ham whatsoever.
Yeah,
I just don't. Mate,
struggles getting started a lot of the time as well.
Yeah, the thing is, the Premier League, the Championship, no matter how good the Championship is, how competitive, that jump in level is massive.
It's massive.
You're massive. You've seen it. Look with Carvalho. I couldn't believe how poor Carvalho was the other day in the League Cup. Playing against the League One team. Where you like, I know he's got youngsters around him, but you like, right, show me what you got now against
like
the
even
level
Ox,
that you're playing.
Like even Ox, as much as we might criticize him in that, you could tell the difference between Ox and the rest of the team. Like you could just see there was a clear difference in ability in terms of Ox just looked naturally better than everyone else on the pitch as it was, even though he's not that, that great kind of thing. But yeah, Carvalho, man, I was shocked. I was like, you are playing rubbish, man. Like for someone who should be at a decent level, I don't really get it.
Yeah, Carvalho. I've got to say, I actually do worry about Carvalho. I do worry about Carvalho because I was saying to Cal yesterday, when new ownerships come in and they invest, players like Carvalho might get lost.
Yeah,
because if you're going for players like Carvalho in the positions he wants to play in, and you got money to invest, you're going to get better, ain't you?
Yeah.
With the likes of Harvey Elliott, I think as long as Klopp's there, I think Harvey Elliott's safe. Yeah, be a squad player as well. But yeah, I worry about people like Carvalho. I've always said it as well. I don't know if Carvalho was actually a Klopp signing or a Liverpool signing, because with the way Klopp likes to play, where does Carvalho actually fit?
That's what I keep saying. Like, why is he like? He's never ever going to excel.
He's not a left winger. He's not a left winger, especially in the way we want to play in a 4-3-3, counter attacking. Counter pressing. You've got to use pace for that. That's why we went and got Luis Diaz to do that, because Mane was starting not to be able to do that on the left-hand side anymore. So we went and got Luis Diaz to replace him. Carvalho can't do that. He's a completely different kind of player. And then we don't play a 4-3-3 with a 10, do we? We don't play one advanced. It's a flat 3. And you can't play him. You can't play him as a number 8 because he's not got the physique to do that.
He's not dynamic enough.
No,
don't you think our youth players? You mentioned it before about how crap they are, which I agree with. But don't you think they all look the same? Like same body build, same.
Yeah. They're all tiny. They're all tiny, man. No one eats. They're on vegan diets. They are on vegan diets, man. They're on plant-based food. I'm telling you.
No, it's
they need some horse meat. They need some good old horse meat in their diet. I'm telling you. I don't know what's going on over there.
Start shopping at Tesco. Is that what we're saying?
They're just
a hard not life over there. Jeez, clearly that.
Need some Morleys or something like that. You know what I mean?
That's true, yeah. Just put some meat on your bones, guys, because all of you just seem so. You got a slim build, which is great, but it's like we kind of need you to be a bit a bit more about you kind of thing, because in the Premier League you will get bashed about. Like
Literally,
even Harvey Elliott, he's not
yeah.
a small boy, is he? Like he's kind of a bit stocky.
Yeah, I mean, if you put a mask on all the youth players' faces, their body shape would be exactly the same, and you wouldn't be able to tell who they are by body shape alone, because they're all exactly the same. They're all like 5'6", 5'7", 8.5 stone, and it's like they're on pot noodles and penguins and shit like that.
Why they all got dead trims as well?
I don't know, man.
Ben Doak. We're going off topic, but I'm going to talk about it. Ben Doak's hair, when he came on, it was that really flat down, weren't it? Weren't it? And there was like no fade. It was just like an old step. Do you remember when you was a kid, you used to get the 2 steps around the back and the sides?
Yeah, the bowl cut.
And I was like, what the fuck is this?
His mum's still giving him a bowl cut.
I'm going to say, maybe there's just like a club hairdresser and he just cuts everyone's hair like the same kind of thing. And I'm just like, man, you guys really need to change it up a little bit over there, because I just think right now everyone looks the same and you're all coming out the same way. And to be honest, that's all being sold. So maybe someone needs to change it up a bit.
Have you seen
the barber with a Dairy Lee lunchbox?
Yeah, literally.
And you see them doing it in the cafeteria. They're all getting their Dairy Lee lunch pack out and building up their stacks.
I don't understand.
Cracker, ham, cheese.
Are you telling me, right? Even friggin' Elliott and Jones have had an effect on Salah, because he's now got a friggin' fade at the back of his hair.
I know. I noticed that.
You're telling me these lads are walking around the training ground and seeing these youngsters with them trims and decided, and they're not saying anything? I mean, come on.
Salah had a big influence on Elliott, diet-wise as well, didn't he?
I think he needed to, because Elliott's a guy you can tell his natural body is someone. He could put weight on very quickly. So
like Rooney.
Yeah, like Rooney. Yeah, literally exactly.
Not to that extent. I mean, Rooney was fat when he was born, and he's and he's just never gone anywhere. I saw Wayne Rooney the other day. I saw a picture of him the other day, because is he the DC United manager now, ain't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, is he?
And he's got and it's like he had a shirt on with zero neck, and his head started here, but then come out of the picture, and then come back around. I was like, "Fuck me, Wayne, what has happened to you?" And he looks 47 years old. He's actually a year younger than Mike Milner.
Is he?
Yeah.
Hey, me and Ravi will tell you, get on them yogurt and oats for breakfast, then you'll be set.
Get built up. Yeah, getting the protein. Whatever if they're having Weetabix for breakfast, get protein Weetabix. Change it up a little bit.
So honestly, Rooney's still?
I think Rooney's either the same age or a year younger or 1 year older. There's hardly anything in it between him and Milner.
Wow, and he's already retired. He's got a managerial career and everything. Bloody hell!
And he looks like shit.
And he looks
Rooney's 30. He said, I've just googled it. He's 37.
Yeah, so he's a year older than Milner.
Wow!
I didn't know that. I honestly thought he was 40s. I actually thought he was in his 40s now.
Rooney looks like
Milner looks like. Yeah, he does. He bloody does, man. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Carvalho has a frame of a Slim Jim.
He does.
Yeah, Carvalho's tiny, man. I mean, Elliott's not big in stature, like height-wise. He's short, but he's not.
Shaqiri.
He's got a bit of weight behind him, ain't he, Elliott? He's got a bit of weight behind him. And Shaqiri was too big for his body, wasn't he?
Yeah, but that's why I look at Harvey Elliott. Like, they almost follow that same kind of pattern in terms of short guys, but stocky. If he continues, he'll get stocky like that. And I think he just needs to, whatever he's doing now, just keep it that way. He looks like he's
exactly. The rest of them, Jesus, shagging grannies will put years on you. Will it now? Well, it's just how would you know, my friend? How would you know?
Something you're not telling us, mate.
Poor Wayne. So, right, let's get back to that. We have gone so off topic.
Let's move off the grannies and back to the game in hand. Come on, guys.
Definitely move off the grannies. Oh, Jesus Christ. So this is the last game before the World Cup, lads. Would you play at a full strength side, or would you let the World Cup players not play?
Nah, you play full strength
because of fear of commitment. Because I am just worried. Right, is Virgil going to go for any tackle tomorrow?
Yeah, well, is anyone going to go for any tackles?
That's what I'm trying to say. So the players going for the World Cup, because you got that in the back of your mind. Let's face it, if all of us were playing for Liverpool tomorrow, but we all got picked for our World Cup nation, we all got picked for our nation to play a World Cup in 2 weeks' time, would you be that committed to tomorrow's game?
No. Hell no.
Yeah, but Klopp got asked this question in his presser, and he said that, look, it's the players are focused, which he's obviously going to say. But he says even they could go to the World Cup and get injured in the first game. He said, and that would be even worse. So they can't have the mindset of, putting half the effort in, because actually that is when you start getting injuries, when you're not fully focused. So I think we're professional enough. Like, let's face it, I think Virgil and others have been distracted by the World Cup already this season in most of their performances. Is tomorrow going to be any different? I don't think so. I think you're going to see the same kind of output, which is still less than 100%, but they're 80, 90% still better than the alternatives. And, if you play, like, we'll do a team in a bit, I'm sure, but like if we play Virgil and Ebu, I mean, even those two at 90% is probably better than playing Nat Phillips and Gomez. So, what's it matter?
Can't be choosers. That was to the comment of it. I'm shaking grannies apparently. Big up, big one.
I agree with Cav. I think, yes, it's look, we're not stupid. Players are not dumb as well. With being this close, especially as the squads have all been announced, no player who's going to the World Cup is putting in 100%. That you couldn't, because you just know that one little injury and you are out of a World Cup. Like, and in your mind, are you realistically thinking, do I want to risk that just for a game that realistically I probably didn't have to play in? Like players like Harry Kane and stuff. I'll be like, it won't shock me for, like, I know this is Tottenham, but it wouldn't shock me if Conte drops Harry Kane, for example, for that game. Do you know what I mean? Because he might just look at it and have a conversation with him. So I'm looking at Liverpool and thinking Van Dijk, Ebu, first World Cup. If he picks up Ebu gets these kind of groin injuries as well. If anything happens, he knows he's out of it. So we want to pick a strong squad, but I just think the players are going to play a little bit within themselves in that game. And don't be surprised if it's going to be like a boring game tomorrow, to be honest.
I mean, it could be a boring weekend across everywhere, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because I just don't know how teams like I think Conte was talking about Harry Kane the other day, and basically said that he's tired and he's knackered and he's shattered, which you can tell. I mean, Harry Kane's looked tired since the beginning of the season, so he's just not that player anymore. But he says that, but he plays him a whole 90 minutes again in the League Cup.
Took him off during the Forest.
So is he going to risk it? I mean, at the end of the day, though, all the managers only care about their club. They don't care about the national sides.
Yeah.
And they'll pin the national sides out. They'll be like, "Oh, I've got 3 points to get. I've got a game to win." So yeah, I'm going to pick them all. But then you just got to have it in the back of your mind that if Southampton come out,
we do have players, Jay, that aren't going to the World Cup, like Salah, for example.
Salah's got to be on.
Thiago, he's not going.
Fine.
We got some players in that starting 11 that we'll put together in a bit.
It's the defence that worries me. That's what I'm. That's the bit that worries me. If Fabinho plays, I mean, you got Fabinho, Virgil, and Konate. If they play, that's the core of our defence and midfield area. I just worry, like, especially like Fabinho will probably want to be in that Brazil squad. Got a chance of making it all the way and winning the thing. Is he? I mean, he's not putting in tackles now, so it's like, what's he going to be like? And if Virgil, Southampton are going to be up for it and think, right, they might not be up for it, Liverpool defensive wise. Let's get amongst them. Let's rough them up a bit. Is Virgil going for a last minute tackle? Is Konate? They just got to pull back a little bit. Natural instincts in the back of your mind, ain't it? It's just natural.
Yeah,
right?
it's not a conscious decision. It's just one of those where it's like 50-50, and usually you'd be like, I'm smashing this bloke if I have to get the ball. take the ball in the man kind of situation, or, just go and try win the ball. Instead, they're a bit like, as soon as they get there and it's like that instant last action, they're a bit like, oh, no, I don't want to risk that. And it's like, it's not something you can control. It's just instinct. And I think that's that like 5% that they've not quite had this season.
It's going to be a weird. I just feel it's going to be a weird weekend this weekend for football. Not just like like in all the countries, all around Europe, especially. Good teams that are playing all around Europe right now.
Is it then a good thing that we're playing Southampton?
This is a fucking. That's why none of the top 6 are playing each other on the last weekend, because because the Premier League wanted that to be competitive. Can you imagine Liverpool City with the last game for a World Cup? It'd be the worst game you've ever seen. They won't do anything. It'd be like.
But then remember, this season we've done poorly against smaller sides.
Exactly.
That imposes its own problems. On a normal day. Do you know what I mean? Before the World Cup, we were already struggling against smaller sides. So now I'm thinking, crap. Southampton, new manager. Don't know how many of their players are going to the World Cup, if any. So then they're probably looking. Yeah, so then they're probably looking at thinking, well, guys, as you said, Jamie, let's get in amongst them. We know Virgil's looking at the World Cup. We know Konate's looking at the World Cup. Get in on players like Darwin Núñez, Fabinho, rough up Alisson. Like, there's going to be a lot of that. And players like Shea Adams, I always find those kind of players, they're so funny because 9 times out of 10, I think, oh, God, he's rubbish. But then at games like this, his attributes against Liverpool will just work. What he's good at, it will just work against Liverpool. Like James Ward-Prowse, set piece wise, it will just work against Liverpool. It always does. Like, we always seem to play a team, and all of a sudden, like Fraser Foster, I remember playing against him, and he pulled out like a couture performance, and I was like, you're like 50 years old, and you're pulling out performances like this. Like, where did that even come from? Like, it always happens. It always happens. And so we just got to be a bit careful. That's all.
It is a bit of a worry, and it does let you make you think, don't it? It really does make you think, like, what is going to happen this week. It's interesting. I've got to say, it's interesting. But at the end of the day, we'll pick the Liverpool team in a minute, but I think Klopp will go completely full strength as it's the last game.
He's got it, Jamie. I
think he'll put out his strongest possible 11. Now you've got some players back fit as well. So Matip and Diaz are back in training. They're back running outside, which is great news. Diaz is ahead of schedule.
Especially Diaz. That's
fantastic. I mean, and Diaz not going to the World Cup. He's going to get all that warm weather training in Dubai. And I think Jota will be the only absentee if no one gets injured in the World Cup. That is when we come back on Boxing Day, which is fantastic here because that would be the fittest team we've had since last season, because we didn't start the season with
we didn't even have that. We didn't even have that in pre-season, did we?
No, exactly. So that would be good to hear. This is why I think this game is a must. It's a must win, because I'm looking at the top 4 right now, guys, and Chelsea are not great. And I actually looked at Chelsea's squad when they played the other day, and I was looking at them playing against Arsenal. I was actually looking at them thinking, you know what? This ain't a great squad Chelsea have got. It's not actually that good.
For all the money that they spend, when you look at the 25-man squad, you're right. There's a lot
Koulibaly is not the defender he was. He's just not the defender he was. I look at Jorginho. You press Jorginho, and he ain't got nothing. You can really get at him. Kovacic is still a good midfielder. For Mason Mount is so like, you got a 35-year-old Aubameyang. It makes you let Lukaku go and buy a 35-year-old Aubameyang. It makes no sense. Sterling, you can see why Pep Guardiola is correct. Sterling's not the player he was.
Yeah,
and it's just I look at Chelsea's squad. When Liverpool got their full strength team back, their full squad back, Liverpool's squad's better than Chelsea's. For a lot of the players.
I agree,
I think anyway, especially in that forward area.
Squad.
Yeah, especially in that forward area. I mean, they haven't Diaz, Jota.
If we're talking first 11, but squad, no, I wouldn't think they're squad.
No,
I feel like they've got better bench players than we do. I don't feel like our bench is.
I don't know. When everyone's fit, I don't think there's much.
Who's on the
in it.
bench if everyone's fit?
I don't think there's much in it. I mean, what's Chelsea's midfield? Kovacic, Loftus-Cheek, Jorginho, Mount.
The thing with the comparison I made
between much worse. Is that much better or much worse than actually as when they're all fit?
I think Chelsea have got they've got more good players than we have, but we have more world-class players, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It does. It does. Like our forward line, look, Luis Diaz, Jota, Bobby, Mo.
Yeah, forward line is better.
Nunes. You know, they'd all get in Chelsea's team.
Yeah.
Like the defence. No, if Virgil gets back to it, because when you watch Virgil for Netherlands, by the way, guys, in the World Cup, it's going to piss everyone off. Because he'll be real Virgil. And, you know, when Konate's better, and I'd have Konate right now over Koulibaly.
Yeah.
Right now, I'd have Konate. I'd still have Virgil over everyone, probably still in Chelsea, even Thiago Silva, because he's looking, you know, age looks like it's catching up with him now. And then it's probably their fullbacks are equal to ours. I would say that's about as equal. You know, Trent and Reece James, what they both do. I still think Reece James is very not very good defensively. I just think he's overhyped because how bad the media make out Trent is in comparison. And Chilwell and Robbo are very comparable there as well. But Robbo, I'd still have
Robbo's better.
Yeah, but they're very comparable. The job they do. Yeah, they're very comparable. But I'll still have Robbo over Chilwell. So if you look at it like that, Liverpool squad is pretty much, you know.
I think I look at, and I think I feel like the midfields are kind of the same. They just, as Cav said,
if we got a better forward line, we've got a better goalkeeper. We've probably got a better two centre backs, in my opinion. And then if the midfield's the same, then it's not much in it, is there? I mean, and then I look at Tottenham, definitely got a better squad than Tottenham. I ain't having that. Tottenham's like dead. I mean, Tottenham's. So I'm looking at them two teams. Now, I think both of them won't finish top four. I think Chelsea and Tottenham will both struggle. If Liverpool beat Southampton this weekend, get their full strength team back, I think Liverpool make top four. And I'm going to put it this way: easy. I think
how many points are we off the top four now?
I think we'll be 5.
We're 7.
We win.
We're 7 now.
Right now. So it depends on what results. If the results go away and we win, it's 4, ain't it?
7 with the game in hand, G. So if we win our game in hand, and I know it is Chelsea, but it's still a game in hand. Then technically we're 4 points off.
Yeah.
It's achievable.
With 25 games left to go, 4 points is nothing.
No, of course. No. Of course,
I just think I still trust this team still to go on a run if they can, out of all the sides there. I still trust this team that can.
We're on a run, Jay. You open the show.
Well, 8 wins out. We only lost 2 games. Won 8, lost 2. So in a way, we still are going on a bit of a run. Let me go to.
It's going to be January for me. I think that's where we get it or don't. I think because everyone's going to strengthen. Arsenal going to strengthen. Obviously, I think Arsenal finish ahead of us anyway.
Yeah.
City will finish ahead of us.
Arsenal, what Murdoch is it, or whatever his name is?
Yeah. I think, but I don't. What's so weird? I think like they're a team that I can still see falling off. But just because we're so far behind them, I don't know if they drop off that much where we would catch them.
This is the fixtures.
I agree with you.
So Newcastle have got Chelsea this weekend.
Yeah, they'll beat Chelsea.
If Newcastle win, bloody hell.
That's what I'm saying.
The thing is, are we at a point now where we're, when we look at, because I've not looked at Newcastle's games, when the weekend's coming up. I think we're now at a point where we've got to start looking at Newcastle's games.
You have got to be fair to Newcastle. I think Newcastle are playing once a week.
And they'll strengthen again in January.
They will strengthen. And if they feel like they can actually... at the moment, there's no reason to say why they can't finish top 4. They can keep the harmony of the team together. The problem is with them, even if they do buy in January, if they do lose a couple of their players in a long season, then I think they might slide down a little bit. And results are eventually going to go, I'll go a turn. What are Newcastle going to be like if they do not win a game, say 3 matches? What's their confidence going to be like? So at this moment in time, you've got to take them as a serious threat. Of course you do. Otherwise, you're underplaying what they're doing. But that Tottenham at home to Leeds on the weekend. I would say it's always a guaranteed 3 points, but you just don't know with Tottenham, do you? You literally just don't know. But they have.
Are they home or away, Jay?
They're at home. They're at home. But Tottenham have lost their last 3 in a row, haven't they, in the league?
You know, Leeds are so weird. I don't even know.
But I mean, this is the thing, though. Spurs have lost, I think, 3 in a row now.
If Kulevski's back, that's quite a big plus for Spurs. That does make a big difference, actually.
But that Newcastle-Chelsea game is massive.
What day is that? On Saturday or Sunday?
That is the 5:30 game, Saturday.
Is there any game on Sunday?
Yeah. There's Brighton, Aston Villa, and Fulham versus Man United. And Fulham are at home. And Fulham are at home as well. And Fulham are doing decent. So that's an hard game for United as well. So
I think the second half of the season is going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a few surprises. There's going to be a few surprises.
But we definitely got to win.
Yeah.
If we beat Southampton, if results go our way, we get all our players back. I do think we could go on a run because we have got too many quality players. It just needs to needs to start happening now. And
we agree, Jay, as well. Like if we can accept that not just Liverpool, but a lot of players across the league have sort of had one eye on the World Cup. Well, once the World Cup's said and done, Liverpool if every single team in the league's fully focused on their individual teams, that's great because Liverpool got some of the best players in the league. So you'd think by that we would be we'd see significant improvements in our performances than other people see in theirs. And I think that's what's going to put us in good stead because once you get the World Cup said and done and Virgil's back and Fabinho's back and it's just tunnel vision on Liverpool, if Virgil's back and he's playing 100%, right, and the World Cup's been and done, you know, whether he's won it or he's disappointed he's left, whatever it is, he's thinking, okay, Liverpool for the rest of the season, play every game, Premier League, Champions League, that's the focus. Let's go try and win one of them. I'm sorry, like we end up with one of the best defenses in the league again. You know, that's the level we're at. So I think second half of the season is definitely going to be better than the first.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I say about Liverpool is though, this fatigue thing, it will hurt us more than it will hurt other teams. That's where I look at Liverpool, not the quality. The quality, we've got way better players than 98% of the Premier League, to be honest, like other than Man City. I can't think of anyone else, to be honest, actually, if you think about it on paper. But we suffer from fatigue so badly, like really, really badly. Players break down, injuries, Thiago, you know, your Fabinho's, your Hendo's, other players who have just broken down. That's where I'm looking at Liverpool and just thinking this schedule that we've had the schedule that we've had, in 2022 has been so strenuous on the players, supposedly. So the fact that it's been this strenuous, start of the league again, hardly had any bit of a break. Then we're going into a World Cup. They're not going to have any break after the World Cup because we've got a game 2 days later, even though we know that, you know, some players will be dropped and stuff like that. So then I just think it's going to be a bit tricky for Liverpool in terms of some of their players. The players who are not going to the World Cup, they'll be fine, I think, because they will actually have the rest that they would have needed during pre-season. It's the ones who are going to the World Cup. They're kind of pivotal players, you know, Van Dijk, Konate, Núñez, Alisson, maybe not so much, but like those are quite pivotal to the team. Take them out of the team, you don't get top 4. I cannot see a top 4 situation if, let's say all of them got injured. I don't see a top 4 situation with those guys out. And I just think that will play a part in the rest of the season. But as you said, like Newcastle, they could have 100 players going out, but they've only got one game a week to worry about. We've got Champions League, potential Carabao Cup, FA Cup. There's so many things going on. It's almost like we're just continuing off from last season, having so many games again. Can the boys go again? That is the kind of question I'm just looking at, thinking, let's wait and see. Let's wait. But like I said, that January for me is way more important than anything else. I think if we do not sign some level of quality players and, you know, just bolster the squad a little bit, I just can't see a top 4 position, man. I think we just fall off after a while.
I think we get. I do think. I actually think we're buying January. Even the sale Liverpool Football Club might actually take about 12 months to complete because there's reports coming out today. It might take actually a year to do because, you know, it's a lot of money. it's a lot of cash. So if it's going to take that long, then they're going to have to still spend. And look, the amount of money FSG going to make on
they can just Klarna it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I love Klarna. Does anyone actually use it? I actually use Klarna. I like it.
I think my sister has though.
I use it. It's good for the kids stuff. But no, look, the money FSG are going to make off Liverpool Football Club in profit anyway. I don't think it matters if they buy people in the January transfer market anyway. That there's money there. They've already said there is money available no matter what, because we didn't invest that much in the summer and there was money available. So I do think we buy, but look, it might not be the player. It might not be the players everyone wants. That's the problem. I literally do think we go by Conrad Lamar. I think that will happen, and because everything about his skill set screams Liverpool to me and what Jurgen Klopp wants in a midfielder.
I keep saying it, Jamie. So does John McGinn, but I don't want him at the bloody club as well.
We tried to get John McGinn a couple of years back.
You see,
we were interested in John McGinn. Yeah. But it just weren't attainable at that time. And
good.
I mean, I've always said it. If we're going for that kind of player, just go and get Ward-Prowse. If we're going for that kind of player, Ward-Prowse is always available. I think he's actually a better footballer than people give him credit for because he plays for Southampton, so it's not noticeable. It's a bit like when Jota played for Wolves. He didn't really realise how good he was till he came to Liverpool. He wasn't even playing sometimes for Wolves. They left him on the bench. I remember Wolves fans are laughing when we bought him for 40 million. And then you see a player like, you put him in a scenario where he can develop properly and show off his skill set. He looks a different player. And I literally look at Ward-Prowse and I think he's a very good passer of the football. Problem is, he plays for Southampton, and when he's got the ball, everyone's behind him instead of in front of him. So he can't use his ability. And I think, like, if we're looking for some, a player that don't always get injured and stuff like that, is always available. He's got very good set pieces. We haven't got a free kick taker in this club.
Yeah, I know.
And, and how many free kicks do we always get around the edge of the box most games? Because we keep the
Don't
ball
forget
over.
Arthur Melo, like
Arthur. I mean, but he's not going to be back till February, is he?
Is it February?
Yeah, and then by the time he comes
alone,
back,
man. Jesus Christ.
And by the time he comes back and he's fit and ready to play, it'll probably be March.
What a waste of a loan! Wow.
Yeah, so
crazy.
I always feel like if we're going for that kind of player in January, we're going for that kind of player. Why don't we just go for someone like a Ward-Prowse? It sort of makes sense to me. He's available. I think the price for him wouldn't be that much. I know Transfer Market says 35 million euros, but I think you get him for quite probably a bit cheaper than that.
How much would James Maddison cost you? Do you think
75, 80 right now, probably?
I don't want that.
The trouble in the summer it'll be different, but I think January is going to be quite hard to get him.
Yeah, it's just been called out of the World Cup. Although I don't think he'll play, but.
Leicester are struggling financially, though. They're going to need the money.
But Leicester are very hard to deal with, ain't they? For transfers, they don't mess around. Look what they got for Fofana and Maguire.
Yeah,
for real.
I feel like they're in
85 and 80 million.
They was in a slightly stronger position then, though.
I still think James Maddison is English, so you got that on top, and he's probably the most creative English footballer in the league.
Well, I think his stats, do show that, yeah.
So you're probably looking at 70 mil easily for him, I would say.
I think Maddison would probably push for a move as well.
And they will look at him and think Grealish went to City for 100 million, right? Mm-hmm. And they'll probably think, because me personally, Maddison's a better player than Grealish. So,
got arguments for that, to be fair.
I said it yesterday in my World Cup rant that Grealish is. I don't think Grealish is that great. I don't get him.
I've never thought he was.
I don't get the Grealish hype.
Yeah,
he's a forward. He's a forward. Yeah, he's a winger. That's his game. He's always been a winger. His stats are shit as a winger. In this day and age, for being a winger, you've got to be contributing to something in goals. You can't be a winger that is the one who does the pass before the pass that creates the assist. You know what I mean? That you can't.
Now we're just going
I'm not having that. I'm not having that as a stat.
That's a goalkeeper.
Yeah, literally.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's got the same assists as bloody Alisson this season anyway, and he plays for Man City.
Sure Alisson has more, to be fair, but that.
I mean, look at Grealish in the Man City's team at the moment. Yeah, for all the quality around him, does Grealish actually stand out as a very good winger?
No, not
no. Foden eats him for breakfast.
Mm.
I've never been this Grealish fan, and when I look at Maddison, I just feel like would Grealish do the same job as Maddison at Leicester? I don't think he would.
I think like when you hear Man City fans talk about Grealish, they actually give him a lot of credit for like what he actually does, and it's not goals and assists. It's like his movement off the ball, receiving the ball, buying fouls. He draws players towards him, frees up space for people and stuff. But then I actually watch Man City and I watch him and I'm like, I just don't see it. Like it feels like they're actually just saying stuff to justify having him. I don't think half of it's true. I just think he's just a pretty rubbish winger, to be honest with you. Like he picks up the ball, he runs so far, and then he turns around and comes back. Like I think so much of his stock went up when he was like the poster boy in the Euros. Like he had his long hair.
He had that good year for Villa, didn't he? And everyone was calling him to play for England, and he played for England. And he really didn't do anything.
Yeah, he's and it's his image, and he's a pretty funny character off the pitch, and he's got long hair, and he's like, it was just a new Beckham, weren't he, for England?
He's a white English boy, he's very good looking and can play a bit of football. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
To be fair. But like, one player, like someone just said in the comments, like EMJP316. I want Eze. I really want Eze and
Eze quality.
Eze and Elise would be.
I don't know how Eze is. Eze English? Does he qualify for England?
Yeah.
So how did he not go to the World Cup squad, but Conor Gallagher did? This is what annoys me about, Jay. This is what annoys me about England, yeah. I want technical, gifted footballers. I am sick of seeing dry footballers. I'm just sick of it, right? And apparently the reason is because he's playing Harry Kane. This is apparently the reason. So he can't play Harry Kane and play a Maddison and a Foden or a Maddison and an Eze in the same team because it won't, because Harry Kane drops in deep. So there's no room for them sort of players. I'm like, fuck it. Harry Kane just stats pads against average national sides and never turns up for the big games. Why don't we just, as a country, just once in our lives, go, you know what, fuck it. Let's actually do something to win a competition. You know what I mean? And just like, if Callum Wilson is the better choice to play for England because he runs off the shoulders of the defenders, and you can then get players like Maddison and Foden in your midfield that are creative, can make something happen for you, and we win more games that way, do it.
I've always said this, England have always been
I'm sick of the bore factor. I really am. Germany just took the 17-year-old Borussia Dortmund midfielder, who Liverpool apparently interested in now because they can't afford Bellingham, right? And would England have done that?
Nope.
And I bet he gets a little bit of game time as well.
That's why I've always said, man, England, like people were, because I was talking about Calvin Phillips and I was saying, I don't think he should go because he's played like 13 games in the whole
Phillips
of
20. Phillips and Henderson in the same team with Rice. Is there a point?
Yeah, exactly. You got three of the exact same player. Like only one of them is even going to play alongside Bellingham. And I just think that, as Jamie, you hit the nail on the head. In my opinion, is that England need to start thinking about how do I win a tournament as opposed to how do I get all of the so-called best players onto the pitch. It's never worked. We've not won a tournament since 1966. So I'm pretty sure that just throwing all your best players on the pitch is not realistically the best way of doing things. We all think people think Thiago should go to the World Cup, but not the Spain manager, because he's got a system and a way that he wants to play that works. And he feels having other players. Germany are probably the best squad, in my opinion, the best team that I look at. And I think this is what I want, because I want to see you picking players that you're picking them for a reason. Makuku might not play at all, or he might play that one game that they just need him in because he's fast, he's strong, he's got a good left foot, he can run in behind, like all of these things. England would never drop Kane. And I'm like, Kane can't always play because
he played 90 minutes against San Marino. He played 90 minutes.
Why?
Why? Just
like,
what is the point? Just the stat pad.
Let me see something different. Let me see Ivan Toney up front for that game. For example, let me just see what you can do with someone else up front, because it might actually just work better. We don't even know. Southgate has no plan B. So it's like, where he doesn't have a plan B. That's where I think he's just left himself. This is why people ridicule him, because he's left himself in a position whereby during this whole year, you've had opportunities to try something different. You didn't try anything different. You played the same guys. Your difference was putting in Bowen because he had a good, season last year. And it's like, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, can you play with different players? Your Eze's, your James Madisons, maybe your Ward-Prowses or something different to at least, if England's plan A doesn't work, you know what, we'll throw Eze in, we'll change the formation around, and then we're good to go. Kane, you're going to have to come off because you're not really doing anything. Like, I just... 1966, guys. We don't. We need to change up the formula a little bit. You know what I mean?
No, you're speaking facts, G. Definitely.
Yeah, and I look at Harry Kane now, and Harry Kane can't make goals for himself anymore.
No,
he needs to be. He needs to be fed. He needs that support. And I look at someone like a Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson can make for a goal for himself. I've seen him do it for Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be the fashionable take, but that's not. Callum Wilson's a very good footballer. He might not be fashionable, but he's decent, He's got a bit of pace, he's got strength, he's got something about him. He won't come fucking right there. I mean, the thing I don't right, it's my thing of Harry Kane. I think Harry Kane is very, very full of himself. Right? And I don't actually like him as a person. As a footballer, I've got no problem. He's a quality footballer. I'm not going to get diss him, but it's something about him. He's very full of himself. He thinks a lot of himself. And I look at him and think, well, you've done fuck all, mate. Why do you feel like this? Because when it comes to the crunch with Tottenham and England, Harry Kane don't show up. And that's a fact. It's not even a lie. It's a fact. He don't show up. Divock Origi has had more magical moments in football than Harry Kane.
Yeah,
you think of the moments Origi's had for Liverpool and the winners he's got and winning the Champions League and the stuff he did against Barcelona when we're 3-0 down, and basically helps us win 4-0. Does Kane do that?
He goes missing in these. I was just about to say he goes missing in finals, but Spurs don't really get to the finals. But he goes missing in something.
You know what I'm saying? I think.
But G, for the reasons that you just said, when you come up against a decent team, they know exactly how to defend against England because Kane is the system. So guess what? You go in tight and nullify Kane, and England don't have any runners. It's easy. Do you know what I mean? And England then won't take off Kane and have someone that's willing to run across the forward line and stretch and run in behind and create a different scenario and different angles on the pitch. So it suddenly then becomes a very boring game, or it becomes one where our attack's completely nullified. It's all true.
Look, in the 1966 World Cup, what everyone forgets is that Jimmy Greaves was England's main attacker. He was England's poster boy. With Bobby Moore, he got injured for the final. Someone came in and got an hat-trick. You know what I mean? It just
anything can happen, man.
We don't allow that for this England team now. It's so dry. I just know what's going to happen. Iran, we're going to play Iran, and we're going to play 3 at the back with 2 wing backs and Bellingham and Rice as the pivot, and then Sterling, Saka, and Kane up front.
The sad thing is as well, Jamie, is there's loads of these players as well. When you think Foden, Saka, Bellingham, it goes on. A lot of them are coming from top teams that play good football. And then they go to England and they play this pragmatic football. Yeah. And so actually what you're doing is you're not even playing, not only are you not playing players in a system that works, the whole style and what they're being asked to do isn't what they want either. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what England are? They're the Tottenham of international football.
Yeah, they're
the Tottenham of international football. We are Spursy as England.
That's Southgate, though, isn't it? That's Southgate.
You know what's going to happen as well? Harry Kane's going to get 5 goals this World Cup. He's going to score a hat-trick against Iran, and he's going to probably get 1 against Wales and 1 against United States, Then we're going to go out in the knockout stages. Then he'll come home, get the freedom of Great Britain, and go, he got 5 goals in the World Cup again. And you're like, Iran, America, and Wales. You know what I mean?
He'll do nothing, and then we'll get a penalty, he'll score it, and he'll go off celebrating, and it'll be on the front of every magazine and every paper.
He's our England's saviour. How is he our captain?
That part I don't really understand.
I don't get it. He's got no leadership skills or whatsoever. If I was going to make anyone captain for England, it would probably, as a starter, when I'm looking at it right now, probably Rice. Or Jordan Henderson, to be fair.
Mm.
If Jordan Henderson was playing for England as a starter, I'd actually have him captain.
Yeah, if Henderson was starting, then I would have him
I'd actually have him captain for England because
If not him.
He basically is. He's the captain without the armband.
He does it anyway. Do you remember when Stuart Pearce took the captain's armband off Gerrard and gave it to who did he give it to? He took it off Gerrard and made a New England captain. Oh, who was it?
And the reason why he's still not in charge.
Yeah, because Gerrard was England captain, and then I think Pearce came in for one game and took the captain's armband off him and gave it to someone else because he said he didn't want Gerrard to have all the struggle of being England captain. He's like, what the fuck are you on about? He's Liverpool captain. And if you ask Stevie, that's bigger. It's just England, man. I'm sick of England. I've got my Argentina shirt. It's on the way. I'm done.
I like the Uruguay shirt. I'm thinking again.
Yeah.
There are a few kits actually. I was actually
looking
at the England. I just think to myself, why don't you play like 95% of the Premier League players play like the system so that they can just seamlessly just transition over? Because you're trying to play three at the back. I don't know many. Liverpool don't play it. Spurs maybe, but they got Dyer in there, I guess. City, they don't have a system. Arsenal, no. Well, maybe on the other occasion. Like, it just doesn't really work the way that you play. You play boring football. We've got fast players. Like, does it even make sense? Like, boring football with fast players. Like, how does that even work? Like,
we build our team around
the wrong player.
Our team is built around Pickford, Shaw, Maguire, players like that. When our team really should be built around all the excellent young quality attackers we got in this team. And
I can't wait till England Harry Kane retires because it's going to be interesting. You know, usually no, and that's why I say I feel it's going to be interesting because you look throughout time. Let's say just since like the 90s, we've all like England have always had like a star striker, whether it be Shearer, your Owens, your Rooney's for a while, and then now it's obviously Harry Kane. And then they've always had that second, third striker who just kind of floats in and out. It's going to be interesting to see when Harry Kane does finally hang up his boots. Because at the moment, we're not really seeing another English striker coming through, in my opinion. I don't know if anyone does know, but I don't see anybody kind of coming through. It's going to be, I think England, as you say, Jamie, I think there'll be a better team for it and actually would be in a better position to win because we put too much importance on strikers in England. It's all about, I'll be honest, all the strikers who play for England, all they care about is getting that record of goals. It's not really about anything else. I mean,
international records. I mean, look, Wayne Rooney is Wayne Rooney's a better footballer than Harry Kane. There's no doubt about that, right?
Yeah.
But he only ever got 2 World Cup goals or whatever he was. So,
yeah, exactly.
You know, international goals mean nothing to me. Like, Robbie Keane's got more international goals than Wayne Rooney. But it's who you play. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo's got like almost like 100 international goals, but man plays Andorra every week. You know what I mean? It's just, I never take it that sort of record really seriously for me. You know, international goal scoring records, because the amount of poor international teams, especially in Euro qualifying, you know, you got your Liechtensteins and your Luxembourgs and your San Marinos and when you get them and you're stat padding against them, does it mean anything? Really?
Nah.
That's what I'm
exactly.
saying. Like, England, I just can't be fucked with England. Yeah, you know, Southgate will leave and Pep Linders will be England coach. You watch.
You know what? That's good because that means he's not.
And he'll bring intensity. He'll bring intensity to the England team.
Yeah, well, you know what? England need it, to be fair, so I couldn't even blame him on that one.
There's one tournament that releases a book.
Yeah.
Oh, can you imagine? Right, let's actually get back to a Liverpool preview. We went well off topic, but I enjoyed it. Let's pick the Liverpool team then. The final Liverpool team before the World Cup.
Right.
I think this is the first time in a while we've got more players to actually pick from. But it might be the same team. But there we go. So I think I've gone 4-3-3 to lay it out as, because I think that's what Klopp's gone back to now. I think that's what he wants to play. And in his press conference, he did say he thinks Darwin Núñez is more lethal on the left-hand side than through the middle at the moment.
Yeah, I told you.
He's more dangerous. And if you look at Darwin's heat map, even when he plays in the middle, he goes out so left. It's unreal.
That's why it's going to be a problem for Diaz when he gets back. What does he do?
Yeah. I mean, Diaz is a false 9.
I'd rather have a striker. Like, this is where we need a striker. Like, this is why I think we need to sign a striker.
I don't think Klopp wants a proper striker, though. I just don't know if he wants a proper out and out. I don't think he wants like a Haaland as a pivotal.
Yeah, he doesn't do enough off the ball, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because look, we all love the Origi. Klopp didn't. And Origi is an out and out forward, ain't he? You know, and when he did play, he played him out wide.
Yeah, which made no sense. Like, oh, Jesus Christ!
So it tells you everything. I literally don't think in this system, the way we are at the moment. Look at all the players we bought. As I said, Darwin Núñez is very similar as a player to your Diaz's, to your Salahs, to your Mane's. They can shift around, you know.
But that's why that's where I feel like that's where I feel that's an area that if we just had that, it doesn't have to be a top. Like, I'm not asking for Haaland, but I'm just talking about just a natural striker, like whether it's like a striker of like an Ings level, but he's an out and out goal scorer like striker.
Is there many quality out and out strikers in the world anymore?
It's
the number 9. It's the number 9 position starting to be like a dying position.
Yeah, Jay, if I asked you how many good false 9s there are in the world, there's not many of them either.
That's very true. Very true.
What there is forwards. Do you know what I mean? There's forward players,
attackers
that can play in them positions. You know what I mean? You can play like an Nkunku. Right? You can play an Nkunku probably as a 9 or on a left or as a 10. Do you know what I mean? And that's what teams are doing now. I go around and I think there is obviously number 9s out there, but real proper quality. How many is there apart from Haaland? Like, I think
a lot of the best players now are
all retiring. Lewandowski, Suarez, they're all finished now, aren't they?
Yeah. That level is pretty high. When the two names you just mentioned, I think a lot of players now are wanting to be wingers and inside forwards and be not the main striker, but actually have the ball, have the goal in front of them and cut in and try and get their goals or get on the end of it. Not a lot of forwards now want their back to goal and being that. No. Being that main guy.
They don't want to play that way. And look at Gabriel Jesus. You ask Gabriel Jesus prefers playing wider than coming inside. That's where he prefers it. And he's not a proper striker either. You know, Gabriel Martinelli, he's a wide attacker. Saka's a wide attacker. There's all the attackers out there you think about now, in this generation going forward, all sort of like can play left wing, right wing, can play that 9 position for a little bit. Jota can play the 9 position. Jota ain't a number 9. Do you know what I mean? I just look at it and think.
I'm just having a look online now, just to like. I just had
quality, and I mean proper quality number 9s is there.
I'll be honest, like I'm going through this list, and I'm like, he's crap. He's even crap.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. A few years ago, we had Lewandowski,
like top 5.
Yeah, you had your Lewandowskis and your Suarez's and your Fernando Torres's and all that sort of thing. Your Lukaku's, but they're dying off now. They're like no one really coming in. It's a weird one. It's all
Martinez will probably be like the last one I can see. He's like the
but
best.
Is he a proper number 9? He can
in terms of just he can't play left and right. Like he's just
he can play 10 or a 9, can't he?
The Inter Martinez.
Yeah, the Inter one.
He plays off his best season is off Lukaku, wasn't it?
Yeah, he drops deep a little bit, don't he?
Yeah, a bit more of it.
Vlahovic from Juve, he's 22.
He's quite young as well.
Yeah, but he's had a massive fall off. Yeah,
I'm just throwing out names, guys. That's what
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They're not great. Do you know what I mean? They're like
Mbolo. Jeez, I remember him when he was young.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's not literally. Haaland is the last of his breed.
I think Osimhen would be my only one.
Osimhen might be one as well. Yeah, Osimhen.
Yeah. I just think it's just like I'm not sure cycle's the right word, but football changes, doesn't it, over time? Like Klopp and the 4-3-3 formation, Guardiola and the 4-3-3 formation. they kind of they're the top coaches and the top teams, the system and the formation they play, it like filters down, and then you start to see like the next generation of players coming through. They kind of tailor to them positions because that's where they see their potential careers, where they'll get success or get into top teams. The days of 4-4-2, you'd have had traditional strikers, wouldn't you? We've kind of moved away from that now. So I think the top teams kind of the way they play influences this type of players that come through.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
I'm looking at Real Madrid. Benzema's 36, ain't he?
Yeah,
Benzema's one we forgot about actually. He's
starting to drop off a little bit this season.
How can we forget about the Ballon d'Or?
Even Darwin scored more goals than Benzema this season, and
I've never really rated Benzema, I'll be honest with you.
No, neither have I, but you're not allowed to say that on social media.
It's a foot. It's a foot. Do you know what?
I think Suarez is a better player than
Suarez. Suarez is the best.
No, but you're saying but Jesus Christ, I always had my head bitten off the other day when I said that, and they were like,
"Nah, Suarez is one of the best strikers to ever live."
Suarez is one of the greatest strikers of all time, not just of this generation.
I am quality. 100% with you. Like I put Suarez up there with the elites of the elites. Like
there's an argument that he's better than Henry career to career.
That's the level.
And I'm not, because I've had the debate on my channel already when everyone did it. Go back and watch it, guys. It was a few months ago, but we did the Suarez versus Henry debate, and I think Arsenal fans got angry because they went, Suarez only played 2 seasons in the Premier League. And it's no, career versus career. Yeah. Their whole careers, club and international. For me, you could almost argue Suarez was a better player, especially when he went into his 30s.
Yes.
Especially when he went into his 30s. He was playing for Barcelona and being top goal scorer in Spain when Henry went to America.
That's a very good debate,
I know.
Yeah, it's actually rattling my head a little bit.
Suarez is different, man.
No, he was different kettle.
And he's got the 3rd highest assist of all time.
I know Sturridge was part of this 13-14 team, but I would argue that Suarez pretty much dragged a very average Liverpool team into a title race.
But if you ask Sturridge says Suarez made him a better player.
Obviously. Did you see?
Yeah, Sturridge says he tried to outscore Suarez every game. So it made him a better player.
SAS was quality, man.
I love that. Oh, the good old days, eh?
I mean, Suarez was different, man. And now you think, like, you look at Haaland. Haaland, to equal the same amount of goals that Cristiano Ronaldo has got in his career, Haaland has to score 42 goals every season for 14 years.
It's mental,
that's kind of crazy, to be fair.
I was listening to Big Up Terry and all the terrorists and all that, but them saying that, if Haaland goes and breaks all the records goal scoring wise, he is better in your R9s and all that. And I was like, no, it's just.
I think we need to stop confusing stats. Otherwise, Harry Kane can technically be the best striker to ever live in the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly. And look, Haaland is a great goal scorer, but as an all-round footballer, there's weaknesses to his game.
Yeah.
But in front of goal, he's a machine. He's like a robot. But if Haaland's not scoring in the game, and he's sometimes very, very quiet with limited touches of the ball.
But that's where, for me, I would say Suarez is a bet. When the careers are said and done, the stats might work in Haaland's favor. But Suarez could do absolutely everything.
Like everything in his repertoire. Like you've never seen a striker. I don't even want to get into it because it'll just get too political, man. Like Suarez is, in my opinion, top 3 strikers I've ever seen in the Premier League era. And I'm talking your Aguero's, your Henry's, your Bergkamp, your
He's top 3 best strikers I've ever seen. Full stop.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. 100%.
I mean,
he's the sort of guy, right? We could play any game against any team in any stadium, anywhere in the world, and he would shine. That's the thing with it. He didn't need facilitating. He didn't need to be part of a system. He just was that good. He could work in any system or no system. He just had everything.
It's everything that goes against him, though. That's the problem. The racism, the biting. You know, all that sort of stuff. Because
He
he's
doesn't
done
know.
all that, it's all go against him, and people are not ever going to put him in that regard. When you look at football in 50 years' time, people are not going to go back and look at Luis Suarez and think, Jesus Christ, that might have been, apart from R9, could have arguably been the greatest striker of that time, you know, apart from R9. And
Yeah, true.
people won't look at him like that because of the incidents. They'll look at Harry Kane because he's Mr. Clean, and they'll look at, you know, Lewandowski and that. But no, Suarez was just. He was on
So Suarez up front then, yeah?
Yeah, we're
Yeah, if we could. Yeah.
I'll take him there at 35, whatever he is. I'll take him right now, you know.
But okay, cool. That's the type of striker, like in terms of just a number 9, that I think that obviously, I mean, I would take him for the next 6 months just to have him on the bench and come on in games and stuff like that. I think he'd still come on and somehow do a job and score from the halfway line or something like that. So you never know. You never know, man.
Yeah, sadly.
You never know.
So back 4 guys. We're fullbacks first. What are we going fullbacks?
Trent and Robert.
Yeah, Trent and Robert. Yeah.
Ramsey, you think Ramsey performed well enough to play?
Not
on the
yet.
bench, I think he can come on. He can come on.
Do you reckon Ramsey's already seriously a threat to Trent's position?
Nah.
You reckon he can be?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. He will not, maybe not through. Trent will always be better at him in terms of the long pass and maybe the creativity, but all round fullback, Ramsey in a few years will challenge him for sure. Because I think we'll get to a stage where Trent's going to be elite in what he does going forward, which he already is, and then a liability defensively. And Ramsey's just going to be that solid, secure, good at everything guy. And then really, it's going to be, what do you really want? And I think a lot of people, if we're a Liverpool team full of stars, especially going forward, if we've still got Salah, Diaz, Núñez comes good, we might not necessarily want to take that risk at right back if that option's there. So that's where I think he might force his way in. But I don't think at the moment. I think that he's got maybe next year, maybe the year after that. But
big up, Nick. Centre-back partnerships.
You just got to go Ibu and Van Dijk, I guess.
Yeah. Is Konate as a centre-back with Virgil for the rest of the season?
Yes, hands down.
Even when Matip fit.
Drop Matip in if you need to rotate purely.
Yeah.
Konate, he's just different, ain't he? It's hard not to love him, ain't it? The man's he's super aggressive. He's the only thing that worries me about it sometimes about Konate is his position a little bit, because I do think he knows he's got that pace and that power that if he's out of position a bit, he can get back into that position. And that's always been Gomez's problem as well. Gomez has relied on his athletic. And and with Konate, I think with Virgil as well, I think Virgil just needs a partner now going forward that he knows is just going to play with him every week. I think we need a settled defence now for the rest of the season. I don't think it needs changing a lot. You know, you can bring players off during the game because we have 5 subs. I don't want to see too much rotation in the back. I think you can rotate a lot of your team, but I think the area you should never really rotate much is the back line.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the back line should just stay how it is and just, you know, and then you can take them off in game. You know, if we're winning 3-0 in a game, you've got half hour left, you can take off like a Trent and put a Ramsey on and stuff like that. No problem. But going forward, okay, I don't know if you agree as well, like that, I think the back 4 just needs to stay the same now.
Yeah, especially back 4, definitely. I'm perfectly fine with swapping out a fullback if you need to. But I think what's most important is that your centre-backs are consistent with your goalkeeper. So that centre of your defence just has, you know, it's just natural to them all, you know, where they'll expect each other to be. If one steps in, one covers, you know, who's going to go for the initial ball if it's a 50-50? You know, is he physical? Is he fast? You know, what's his deficiency to make up for? You know, that partnership you only learn through playing together. And if you keep chopping and changing defenders, you're just relying on quality, not necessarily cohesion. So I think the 2 centre-backs, along with the goalkeeper, if these guys that we've got in front of us now, if they play together consistently, that is as good as a central defensive partnership you ever not ever going to see, sorry, but you're going to see, because between Virgil and Konate, they have absolutely everything. And then Alisson's just obviously the best keeper in the world. So
that is a much better looking goalkeeper and back four.
Mm-hmm.
If we keep that going, I'm happy.
But the thing is, Matip is a very good defender as well. And he steps in and you drop him in and usually he hits the ground running. He's not somebody that necessarily needs games to get up to speed. Like that's the beauty with him. But we have got to start thinking as well, like
we've got to think about the future. Yeah.
Exactly. And if given the opportunity, and look, it depends on availability, depends on, how many games we're playing and how many minutes these guys can play. That's the priority. Or it will be for Klopp. But given the choice, all options available to you, you have to go with Konate. You have to, because he is the present and the future.
Exactly. And Bonkers puts it as well. Look, he can score. He's good in the air at corners as well. In the opposition.
How old is Matthew?
31 now, I think.
31,
yeah. See, this is why I'll be looking at signing a centre back in the summer. Like I would.
Yeah, because
Van Dijk. Like we can't rest on these guys.
We need to be looking for the next Van Dijk now.
Effectively, yeah.
We need to be looking.
Arsenal have got him. That's the trouble.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the problem.
Saliba, yeah. That's what we need to do now. We need to get that next. I don't think Matip and Konate, as good as they are, I don't think they're centre back leaders. You need that centre back that he's going to lead and command the back four, which Virgil does. He's always shown.
I think Konate could be.
I just don't know if he's like, Virgil organises the defence. You hear him talking about it on telly. And Klopp talks about it, he organises the back. Like, he tells everyone where to be and stuff. And
there were signs there with Konate in the last game that he was instructing a bit more. I think if he's in that team more regularly, I think he could become that player.
I just think Konate's a brute. He just runs through. Like, I love it. I love Konate. I'd think he's got always. The thing with Konate, because he's super aggressive, he is sometimes going to give away maybe a penalty here or a free kick close on the edge of the box here and stuff.
He might learn over time to stop.
But he'll learn, exactly. The man's 23 as a centre back.
I think he's the sort of guy that's, if he is going to give away a penalty, he'll always feel soft. Yeah, I feel like he's the sort of guy that will lean on someone and it'll just be given as a penny. You're a bit like, but he's bound to go down because you've got 6'4" unit pushing you. It looks different, doesn't it?
With Timber, I think Timber's more of a defensive midfielder.
And I don't look at him and think, he's the guy I would want him to like.
I think Timber's going to end up being a defensive midfielder.
Too small for a centre back, I think.
Yeah, and like when I see him play,
he said that too.
Yeah, he runs. His midfield running is excellent. I think he might end up being a defensive midfielder.
I think he played well when he played as.
Yeah, I was impressed with him. I thought
he started centre back, didn't he? But then he actually played as a central defender.
Yeah,
as a defensive midfielder. Sorry.
Yeah, I think
that's where Alvarez. They just kept going. Yeah. That's what I liked about Ajax when he played there.
He's got too much talent just to be a defender. I think that's like what they say about.
Carries the ball too well. Yeah, he's a good carrier of the ball.
Right, midfield 3. Hendo hasn't started 3 games. Does he start this one?
Probably, yeah. I would have Thiago, Hendo, and Elliott, to be fair, though.
That's my midfield as well. Yeah.
Hang on. Let me get that. Right, Thiago.
Thiago left. Hendo in the 6. And Elliott.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
FIFA knows where they go. Harvey.
Harvey Elliott. Harvey.
It's still a silver. No,
it's still 73 rating. It's a bit harsh.
I think I'll go up after this season.
Yeah, I've got to big up Harvey a little bit. I've always been an Harvey fan. It's not going to change. Yes, he's playing too much football because, the thing is he right? So there's been an argument about Harvey lately about the amount of football he's playing. And then some people were saying like, yes, he's young, but if he's good enough, does it actually matter?
No.
Because with science now and the way everything is with medical and all that, it's not going up. Michael Owen played too much football when he was younger and that ruined him. That's what he says. But if you look at the way medical and science is from there to now, that these players are looked after far better,
Mm.
you know, before games and after games. So are you actually worried with the amount of games Harvey's playing, or you think if he's good enough, just he's playing?
I think in the current situation that we're in at the moment, he's playing the amount that I would expect him to play. I just think moving forward, he shouldn't play this amount of football. I think we should be getting better players, better midfielders than him in the team. And once we do, that's when I'm looking at him being more of a rotation option. But then again, like we said about the fullbacks, like he could still be someone that, you know, like Calvin Ramsey. Like these guys are young, so I don't expect them to start ahead of some of the first teamers, so to speak. No. But, you know, a couple games in a row, you can play Harvey Elliott and then, you know, you drop him for the next game. Like, basically what they do with Foden, that's why I love it of it, like with how Man City does it, because Foden doesn't always play every single game. He drops in some games. He might go 3 games he plays, and then all of a sudden, he scored a hat-trick against United, and I think he got dropped the next game because I had him in my fantasy league, and I was like, how the hell do you score a hat-trick and you flipping get dropped for the next game? Like, how does that work?
But then they got Gundogan, De Bruyne.
But this is
what Silva, they can play that game in the midfield. Yeah,
and this is what I'm saying is that if we had better players, then Harvey, like, and that's what I want to see more if from like Liverpool moving forward is going into like next season is if we have the better players like your Harvey, they can still come in. You know what I mean? You're not gonna. It doesn't hinder anyone's development. Like all of that stuff that Pep was saying in the thing. That's all bullshit. Like, you know, I've never seen that before. You know, players' development being hindered because he's got better players in front of him. No, he just needs to get better and he'll play.
Yeah, but he'd be training with better players. Exactly. That make him better. It's like Foden. That's why Pep said Foden's no point Foden going out on loan. He's trained to become the best players in the world, so he's only going to learn. And that will be with Elliott as well. Same with Elliott. Look, I think if Elliott had more pace about him, like Foden pace, I think Elliott would be super, like top.
But that's if he's going to play winger, though. We can see him playing as a winger. So really and truly, he's got enough pace to be a central midfielder.
I think he does a good job. You know, I think he stands out as a good player. And you know what's weird? When he came on that League Cup game, he's only a year or two older than some of them youth players, that started that game. Yeah. And Harvey looked like a first teamer. Mm-hmm. That is the level difference between someone who weren't brought up in our academy and what we bought to the academy players we got. Do you see what I mean? That's why I kept saying at the beginning of the show, the academy needs going. But the front three. Does Bobby start another game?
Who's that, Jay?
Bobby. Does he start another game? Bobby looked depressed, man, against. I think that him not getting called up for the Brazil squad actually hurt him a little bit. Because that's it. He ain't playing another World Cup. So.
Yeah, for real. Who else we got? Who's your options?
Right.
Curtis Jones, Darwin, Salah, maybe.
Yeah. Or
Salah's on the right, isn't he?
Yeah, Salah's playing no matter what.
Yeah.
Or do you go Carvalho as a false 9?
I would try that at least once.
I think it might suit him. Because if you tell him, right, you're going to be a younger version of Bobby, you know? Because Carvalho wants to be in the action. He wants to be in the middle of the pitch where all the action is. He wants to be in and around the goal. And he has got good. I've watched him before. I've seen him with the young Portuguese team. I've seen him, play for Fulham. He can hold up the ball with his back to goal. He can find a pass. He has got it in him, to link play. We try him there. I'm surprised we didn't try him there against Derby.
Yeah, same. I
thought he might have played there against Derby, to be fair, and tried him out there. But it could be one Curtis Jones comes left. But I do think he might go Bobby, Darwin, Salah again.
I would prefer to do what you said, which is have Carvalho in a false 9, because with Darwin and Salah, they work better when they're through. Like Darwin, in my opinion, can't play through the middle. I do not think he's a good enough striker to play that middle role. On the left, though, he causes the exact problems as an inside forward. Salah, it basically would actually just be a 4-3-1-2, effectively, instead of it being a flat 4-3. We did that the other day, I think, anyway, against Spurs. It was a 4-3-1-2 with Bobby in the hole, Salah and Nunez on the. You can say on the wings, but they were like strikers, they were wide strikers.
They were wide strikers, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that works a lot better for the team, and then you can have your Fabio Carvalho in the hole, and then you move forward with like that, because you're protected by the 3 in the midfield, and you've still got the 3 technically up front to go with Carvalho who drops in. So I would go with that, to be honest. You've actually made me think. To be fair, you made me think. Yeah,
I would like that. I just don't think Klopp.
Oh no, I think he'll probably go.
Problem.
I think he'll go Curtis Jones, Nunes, and Salah.
Yeah, Cav.
Yeah, agreed. I feel like this game might be a bit too important to try Carvalho in the 9, but certainly for the future, yeah, worth a try in maybe in a cup game. As I say, Derby might have been a good example to try that in, or good opportunity rather.
Yeah,
I think it's the forward that you said, Firmino, Nunes, Salah. I think it's a 4-3-3.
That is if we go with Curtis Jones.
Yeah, and look, Curtis Jones didn't play any minutes in the Derby game, which is maybe a bit telling that he's going to play some in this, because he's fit and available.
And Salah was left at home. Curtis didn't play.
Yeah. Curtis wasn't starting this game. I'd expected him to be at least one of the subs that came on.
I actually expected Curtis to start against Derby.
Yeah, or even start. Yeah.
I actually said my front 3 for Derby. I thought he might actually go with Salah, because he ain't going to the World Cup, getting more goals. Curtis on the left, and Carvalho as the false 9. That would have been the 3 I would have gone with against Derby.
Would have made more sense to me, though.
And then you're trying that. You've got Salah there, so he's going to score goals against a Derby team, be a threat. Then you're trying out what Carvalho looks like in the false 9 area, and you give Curtis some more minutes where he should shine against a Derby side. But it didn't go that way. And the thing the reason I'm thinking is with Carvalho as well, is because Liverpool don't look like they're in a hurry or a bother at giving Bobby a new contract and happy to let him go. And
very true.
We've got Carvalho in. And I said earlier, I don't know where Carvalho plays in this team. Have they always just thought that Carvalho is Bobby's replacement going forward in the future?
We
just bought Darwin. So we've got Darwin, Jota, Luis Diaz, Mo Salah. That'd be them. And then Carvalho. That'd be your other attacker. So then you don't really need to go out and buy anyone, I suppose.
Yeah, it could be. But I just think that if Carvalho is Firmino's replacement, it's too soon. I think Firmino's time at Liverpool probably, in fairness, is coming to an end. Whether it be because his contract's up, or just purely in terms of like his quality. I think he's a backup option. I don't think he's a starter for us now. And then you've got Carvalho, who come next season is not going to be good enough to be a starter either.
But then Carvalho is like,
so if Carvalho is a couple of years down the line in his development, I could see that working. But I think it's too soon for him to be a replacement.
Because the way I'm looking at it, I think if Klopp had everyone fit and available, I actually think Jota would be his number 9, Salah would be the right-hand side, Diaz would be the left, and Carvalho, Bobby, and Darwin Nunes would be his impact attackers.
Say that again, the impact attackers.
So if everyone was fit and available this season, he had no injury issues, I think our front 3 under Klopp would be Jota as the 9, Diaz on the left, Salah on the right, and our subs off the bench for impact would be Bobby, Carvalho, and Darwin.
Okay, I get it. Okay, yeah. But I would probably do
that for this season anyway. So because I think he wants to bring Darwin in slowly. That's why Darwin ain't played a 90-minute match yet.
True. Yeah.
I think he's trying to bring Darwin in slowly. So I think that would have been the plan. But Darwin has to play now because there's no Diaz and no Jota.
Yeah.
And where's Darwin playing? He's not playing on the left.
He's better off that side. Honestly, I just think down that left hand.
So if you look at it like that, it's a lot of attackers. So then you can really afford to have Carvalho in a way as Bobby's replacement. Because, Jota can be the 9. If he ain't quite working out, Darwin can come off the bench and be an impact and be the 9, or he can be the left. You can mix it up a little bit. Luis Diaz can, he can play off the right. I've seen him do it. So he can go over there for a Salah replacement. So you can move it round, and you have got that ability to do that in that front 3. So because I don't see him buying a forward. I just don't think let's go out. I know a lot of people were saying about Zaha because he's going to be free. And would everyone go for a Zaha in the summer for nothing?
I think
Zaha.
we do go for a right midfielder though, or right winger. So I just think we can't rest on Salah. Like he doesn't work. And the thing is, Salah doesn't actually work in every game. Like we need to be a bit more smarter in certain games, like the game against Arsenal. Salah did not work, but if we had a different type of winger, it would have worked. It really would have worked. But Salah just doesn't work in those inserting. Not every game, of course, he's going to work 9 times out of 10. But there are going to be those odd games where you just need a Nunes instead, or you need a Diaz, or you need a Jota, or you need a Firmino, or you need, someone else. It can't always be the same players. Like Trent. Trent can't play every game because Trent doesn't work in every game. There are some games I need Trent. There are some games I don't need Trent. We got to turn into a team that we're starting to use players a bit more cleverly, as opposed to just, this is the best 11, throw them on, see what they do. If it doesn't work, we just keep persisting with it. No, be a bit smarter in certain games. And I think Liverpool going forward could be like a really dominant team, because we've got players who, if you look at that 11 there, that's a brilliant 11 against Southampton, against most teams. But against the really good teams, like against Real Madrid, I couldn't see that team potentially winning, because it just might not work. Salah would get locked down in 2 seconds. Firmino would be out of the game.
That's where you could play. That's where you could play, like, you take Bobby out, you put Jota there, keep Darwin on the left, and if Salah ain't doing it, you could put a Luis Diaz on the right.
But this is what I'm saying. It's just
change it up a little bit, because then Luis Diaz can, he can push out wider and Salah on that right hand side and cut in from a more wider area and do something different, because he's not a goal scoring forward.
Yeah, so I agree.
Ability to change it up. But I think that's the 11 that'll probably play.
Yeah.
I mean, Curtis Jones, I literally do think he'll play Bobby. I think Darwin on the left, Salah on the right. And and try and win the game. I think he'll try and get this game done. I think that's going to be the idea. Let's get this game done in the first half. And then we can bring the lights up. I think that's what he's going to tell them. Look, Darwin, Virgil, Kanate, and if Fabinho did play, I don't think he will, but to them players as well that are going to World Cup, I think he'll try and get in their red light. Let's get this game won in the first half, and then I can bring you guys off in the second half and bring like the Ox on and things like that. And Curtis Jones is a world of things, and just coach the rest of the game through and get the 3 points. So, score predictions, guys. What do we reckon, Cav?
3-0.
3-0. Goal scorers?
Salah at the double and Nunes.
Yeah, I think Darwin, he's got to do something this game, ain't he? He's got to do something that's going to piss everyone off and annoy you. Or he's got to have 3 chances in 5 minutes. That's what that's what Darwin does. That's what I actually like about him. One thing I do like about Darwin, the man is forward thinking in everything he does. At least, I'll give him credit for that. The man just attacks. He don't give a shit. And I do like the fact we've got a player who don't mind, who will shoot. I don't think we shoot enough at times when we've got opportunities. Like, we open space up, and Darwin will have a shot where sometimes we open space up and we play a pass again. And then we go all the way back to the goalkeeper because it's all completely broken down. Where Darwin will at least have a go. But yeah, I'm going. I think we win this game 4-0. I think we win quite handily, actually, because the Southampton team's dead. The manager they're coming in, I just don't think I'm hoping he has a good career at Southampton, but I just don't think the players are going to take much notice of him. And I think Liverpool win this comfortably 4-0. I actually think this will be easier than the Leeds Forest game.
I agree. Yeah.
G?
I think. Sorry, go on, G. Yeah, I was going to say, I think Southampton, like, on their day, they can be quite a good team. They can play quite well out the back, and midfield-wise, they've got a couple of players. If Aribo's playing and stuff, they on their day they can go by in midfield and do some nice stuff. I watched them against United, and they played them off the park for a large portion of that game, but they're just blunt up front. They can't finish their chances, and then that good game that they have is one in a few. And the remaining other, 2 games, let's say, they're pretty average and beatable, which is why they've lost 8 games already this season. So the difference between them and Forest and Leeds is Forest and Leeds actually have, like, more energy about them, more bounce. I feel like you can always have a bit of a ding dong game with them, where Southampton always seems to be a bit of a, I don't want to tempt fate, but a bit of a routine one. if I'm being honest. So I don't fear Southampton quite like I'd fear the other teams that we've lost against this season, because did feel like the other games this season against Fulham, Forest, and Leeds, I feel like them teams have a little bit about them, a bit of like maybe it's new because they've come back to the league. They've kind of got that, still got that like early season enthusiasm in them still. But I don't know. Southampton, I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to lose and I'm going to get clipped up. So
no, go for it, man. Go for it. Jay, what you saying, my man?
2-1. I think it'll be tighter than we think. I think new manager bounce will kick in. It's kicked in with every other team, and I think it's going to happen again. Brighton kicked in, Villa kicked in, Southampton and the next team. I think it will just kick in, and it just so happens that they're playing Liverpool, and it seems like most of these teams who get these new managers, they seem to play a big team next, and all of a sudden it's like boom, boom, boom. But
and where they're cup final, let's face it.
And I think that we underestimate it, like how much of a cup final, like Derby game. I know we played some of the kids, but that's a cup final to them. Do you get what I mean? And it was very lackluster. I know it was kids and it's Carabao Cup, and so maybe, but I just think at home, yes, we've been strong, but we've looked so lackluster at home. Like I just don't think we've looked that good, at home, to be honest with you. So I'm going 2-1. I think we'll win, but I just think it'll just be a bit more tighter. Like I said, someone will pull out a worldie of a performance, and you'll just think, where did this even come from? Like, why are they in the relegation zone? Like,
Walker Peters will have like Salah locked down.
Yeah. It always happens. But yeah, I think we'll win though. I think we'll win.
Yeah.
2-0.
Sorry, something just flew in my gob and it weren't pleasant.
Bit early for that, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah,
well, this is it. This is it, mate. This is it.
Oh, the after dark show. Big up, Froggy. How you doing, man? Fully, Suarez was a flat back Tripoli in the Prem. Yeah, because he never scored against the big six sides, did he? Or the top four, or whatever it was that season. But Froggy has a career.
Tottenham, Man United, Arsenal. No,
he did actually. Yeah, actually did.
Yeah, no, listen, disrespect Salah. Listen, not Salah, Suarez.
I don't care when this guy's scoring from the halfway line and half volleys from 40 yards.
You know what I mean?
He's the best flat trap bully you've ever seen. If that's going to be it.
Oh man, I'll tell you what though. I think we start having to put a bit of respect on Mo Salah's name as well. That man turns up for the big occasions all the time.
You know what it is with him? Because he's not aesthetically pleasing. It goes. That's why people just don't like. He's not Suarez. Suarez did things that you just thought, fucking hell, mate. But Salah is just effective. I think he's the most effective player Liverpool have ever had, in my opinion. Well, in the Premier League era.
He's got 46 goals against the top 6 in the Premier League.
Yeah, but Jay, a lot of his finishes, right? Think back to that finish.
Mad.
Who did we play last in the league? Oh, Spurs.
Spurs,
back to them two finishes, right, were quality.
Instincts.
But they'll be forgotten about. They'll be lost amongst all the other goals he scores. Whereas Suarez is instantly. Salah will, once in a while he'll do that goal he scored against City and Watford and the long range from Chelsea, and you'll think of them. But Suarez was literally doing not goals like that as such, but goals that you were like, wow, most weeks. I think that's the difference. But the stats don't lie. Like Salah's an incredible goal scorer, but a lot of his goals and the way he scores his goals, they're just overlooked. But actually, they're really good technique.
But Suarez's catalogue is ridiculous. So I'm not going to lie. Do you know my favourite Suarez Liverpool goal, just before we go, is the one against Newcastle with the long ball all the way up to him, and he chested it down past the goalkeeper, took it down, and then tapped it in. The skill to do that was just sublime.
How he even took it on the chest, I have no idea.
The ball never left his chest. It stayed there. You know when you chest it down, sometimes it goes a yard in front of you. It literally didn't move. It was just.
He just lived. He was one of them players. Like he reminds me of a player that defenders must have been like.
Hear him.
Like,
won't be a yellow card. Big up.
I mean, I'll tell you that we know that like you could hear him. Like if you're a defender, you could probably Suarez is probably growling like in the back, like trying to hunt you down. Like, he was one of those kind of players. So he just like Suarez.
Do you know my favorite?
Has it ever been a player that wants to nutmeg somebody so much?
And I loved it. I flipped it. Loved it.
The man was a G. The man was
it was so predictable after a while. Like he would literally duck his head and shift towards, and like he literally passed it through their legs. Like it was like, come on, man, you know that's what this guy does now. But even if it didn't work and it bounced back to him, he'd still find a way of running by it. You know, it was
tenacious.
Suarez almost scored the greatest goal I've ever seen in my life. The volley against Arsenal.
Yeah, the volley
about 30 yards out, first time it hit the post. If that went in,
Torre missed an open goal after that.
That was like that would have been.
Think about that, yeah.
The man
he hit the post with that, but then the goals against like Norwich, like I'm not even talking about the game at Anfield. I'm talking about when he played away to Norwich and he's nuts the defender and he's just curled it at the outside of the. I was just who does that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, no one's thinking of doing that. Like, they'll pass it or they'll try to drill it in. He said, "Now I'm going to put it through his legs." Boom, outside of the.
And against Norwich again, when he got the ball and he put it over the defender's head.
Yeah. He
let it bounce and he delayed, and then the smoothest volley you've ever seen. Yeah, the man was just...
it's the ones where he gets to the byline and it's like, I don't care, it's the byline. I'm going to turn 90 degrees and shoot from here.
Yeah.
Just rifle it like in the near post. Remember that goal he scored against Mignolet? Picks it up on the right-hand side, dribbles down the byline, just rifles it at his head. I can score from anywhere. It's crazy.
Suarez's hat-trick against Norwich is one of the best hat-tricks you'll ever see. It was. And it won't be ever spoke about because it's Liverpool-Norwich.
Yeah. But it was like Liverpool Arsenal, Jesus Christ.
He was just different.
That season has to be one of the best individual seasons I've ever seen. And like, forget the goals, like, because Salah obviously outscored him and stuff. But if I do pound for pound, Suarez's season was better, to be honest with you.
He was banned for 8 games.
Yeah, that's the embarrassing thing for the rest of the Premier League. He was banned for 8 games. Like,
he would have got 40 goals that season.
Oh yeah,
he got 32. He got 32, didn't he?
He got 30, I think.
Get 30.
Because Salah's got the record, don't he? At 30.
Salah's got 2 more than him, hasn't he?
Yeah, Salah got the record at 32 in a 38-game Premier League season. Remember, the Premier League used to be 42 back in the day, didn't it?
That's the thing with Suarez though. Like I remember when you knew Suarez was on the team sheet, I'd look at the opposition and I go, I don't care what defender you've got, I don't care how many defenders you've got, I don't care what their style is. This guy will find a way. He'll nutmeg you, he'll go over you, he'll go around you, he'll shoot from outside the box, he'll shoot from inside the box, he'll score headers, he'll score free kicks, he'll score pens. Like,
do you remember Suarez scored against West Brom with a header outside the box, and he curled it inside the post. I've never seen anyone curl it.
The thing is, the cross took a deflection as well, so he had to react to actually head it.
Knock it down like that, and the ball curled outside. Oh, what the fuck?
He could take free kicks as well. Like, I remember his free kick against City. I was like, how did you squeeze that in? Like, there was no space for that to even go in. But Joe Hart wasn't a shit keeper. That was a good keeper at that time.
When we talk about Messi and Ronaldo, should we really be putting Suarez up with them in the last 10 years?
Just below.
Just below, yeah, I would say.
But when we talk about him for goals and assists, do we sort of ignore what Suarez did?
Hasn't he got the most assists?
He's got the third. He's got the third most assists ever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Only Messi's got more in him.
Yeah, well,
you're forgetting he was part of the best front three I've ever seen when it was Suarez, Neymar, and Messi.
Yeah.
That's elite.
They were doing 5-a-side stuff on 11-a-side pitch. It was mental stuff.
That was illegal. That was illegal. That shouldn't.
You know when you play a lot of 5-a-side, you go down to a game and they're like, oh yeah, like your game's been, the team's cancelled, but we've got your replacement team to play, and then you play like semi-pro, and they're just like absolutely just rinse you. They don't care about scoring. They just want to embarrass you. That's those three.
Suarez could nutmeg a mermaid in a phone box.
Yeah, he probably could. He probably.
Do you remember? For 24 hours we actually had Suarez and Fernando Torres in the same team.
What, the charity game?
For 24 hours because Torres went the day after we bought Suarez.
I don't think that would have worked anyway. I think the Torres that we would have had.
Jesus.
Yeah. A prime like 2009 Torres and a bloody 13-14 Suarez. Fuck me, mate. Yeah, Liverpool have had some special strikers, but I have to admit we've had some.
We've always had special attackers, haven't we? That is one thing about our club.
Yeah.
You go through. We've always
Ricky
had...
Lambert, mate. Okay.
Yeah, we did have a period where it was a little bit.
That 1 year under Brendan Rodgers when we had Barini, Lambert, and Balotelli.
Balotelli. There's that stat they play like 1,000 frigging games and no goals or shots on target.
Yeah, I was like, what? Brendan Rodgers absolutely loved Barini, didn't he? He was like,
he loved him.
Like, what is he watching that I'm not?
Where did Barini go on loan and he did all right?
Sunderland.
Yeah.
Remember,
everyone went to Sunderland. Did it. Danny Welbeck, Asamoah Gyan, Bolo Zenden, like they all went there. And did fucking well. I don't know what happened over there.
Absolute mess. Right, guys, we've got to leave it there. Thanks for everyone tuning in. I do appreciate it. Thanks to Cav. Thanks for G. I really do appreciate it.
Pleasure.
G, when's your channel start?
So, like Monday or Tuesday, I'm gonna do the like mid-season review. So both Cav, Jamie, please, more than welcome. I'm gonna once I've got the date, then I'll put it out. And I wanted to do like a little World Cup thing as well. I know everyone's doing one, so I wanted to do like a preview of the World Cup. So, but everything's gonna start from next week. So guys, please stay locked in, stay tuned in.
That GTV,
yes, sir.
GTV,
yes, sir.
guys, go and subscribe. Cav. So from the after the World Cup, the channel will be changing a little bit, and Cav's going to be a permanent fixture on a couple of shows a week. We're going to just talk about the final details and stuff, but he's in on it. So yeah, there's going to be a couple of shows a week where me and Cav,
you got the Harvey Elliott call up then.
He's got the call up. So yeah, he's going to be a permanent fixture on a couple of shows a week going forward, guys, as well. So yeah, there's going to be changes to the channel. It's actually in my community tab. So if you go and look at the post in my community tab, it's all on there, all the changes that's going to happen. And I've got shirts being made as well. And yeah, so it's all going to be kicking off in the new year for that. So don't forget to go and subscribe to GTV, guys. Go and give them subscribe. Channel coming up, opening very soon. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow with instant match reaction to the Liverpool loss to Southampton. So make make sure you're tuning into that, guys. And when this video ends, guys, you'll be automatically taken over to that reaction video. If you could then please just hit the like button on that video, it'll help that channel, that video be pushed out by YouTube more before it goes live tomorrow at 5 p.m. So, guys, when this ends, stick around. You'll come up to the new video, hit the like button on it. I'd appreciate it. Till tomorrow, guys, enjoy your week.